Hi, good evening. Welcome to Poker Night Live. I'm Barry the Bully Martin, alongside Mr. Mark Prince Charles Banin.
Yeah, hi Barry. Good to have you on again.
Good to have you on again.
Yeah, good to be on both on there.
Yeah, and no young Swede alongside.
No, that's right. Last time we were both on.
What was his name? I can't remember. Stefan? Jonas?
Johan.
Johan. I knew it was a Swedish name, as you would. Anyway, Poker Night Live. You've not seen the show before. Very straightforward. We watch them online poker. Delayed by 5 minutes. Multi-tables, single tables, sit and goes, and some cash games. Super stuff. Now, it's all about getting in contact with the show. Sorry, I'm just wearing some teeth in for the dog. There are 3 ways to get in contact with the show, which, it's all about you. It's your show. We want for you to contact us as much as you possibly can. One way you can do it is via the email, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk, as you can see on your screen. Get on those mobile phones, text the studio 62211. And you can also find out more about Poker Night Live at, strangely enough, the website, pokernightlive.co.uk. Now, you also can have your say, a newish feature which we come to occasionally during the show. You can phone in, leave a voice message, and we can play it on air. 0906 200 7080. Excellent. Well, we've got a really fun show for you this evening. We have Mr. Tony TK Kendall a little bit later on the phone. Looking forward to that. That should be good. Should we have a quick look around the tables?
Yeah,
Mark?
let's do that. Let's go and have a look what we've got on our tables today. So we've got the first one, which is a $10 sit and go. This one's just started. As you can see, not much action here so far. So that one's just kicked off, and we've got a couple of our regulars, El Pig, Hoofy, and a couple of the regulars on there. That should be quite an interesting one to actually watch. We've got a $20 sit and go by the same token with a couple of more regulars. This one's also just kicked off. Johan's on there, Trickster. Yeah, so a couple of regulars on there too. That one's also just kicked off. We've got a third one, which is a 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. This one is like I just said, this one's called a cash game or a ring game. What you see in front of each player is real dollars. So they're playing for real money. This is not a knockout tournament. They sit and get up as they please. And last table is our multi-table tournament. This is where we have multiple players, usually in the region of 200, 300, 400 players. And I'll be giving you some information on that as the evening progresses.
Thank you very much, Mark. Now, we've got a great show for you this evening. Beat the presenter. I believe I'll be dipping into my pockets once again, sitting down with you guys playing one come second last time. It's good value.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I'll be playing a single table tournament a little bit later on during the show, which we'll watch. We'll watch very closely. I'm looking forward to that actually. So
absolutely.
If you can try and tune in later and watch that, it should prove most interesting to watch me play. I know I always laugh. So where we're off to first, Mark?
Oh, I think we'll go to that $10 sit and go. There was a good few recognised players on there, so let's head over there.
Why not? So here we go, the $10 sit and go. Maybe for a new viewer, Mark, what's the format of these sit and goes?
Okay, well, as the name suggests, it's a $10 sit and go. Each one of these players sits down with 10 bucks in their hand, in fact 11 bucks. $1 goes to the house, and it's US dollars that they're putting in front of them, and then that gets converted into chips. They get 1,000 chips for their $10. And this is a bit like a knockout competition, so it's down to last 3 standing, and what means is, as there's 8 players, there's $80 in the prize pool. First prize will be $40, second prize will be $24, and third prize will be $16. Fourth prize, there isn't one, so anyone going out in fourth gets nothing. And it's basically you've got to make sure that you survive, coupled with trying to accumulate chips. And that's the nature of the game. What happens is every 10 hands, the blinds increase. At the moment, they're 10, 20. So it means the small blind will be, they have to post 10, big blind 20. That moves around in a clockwise direction. At the moment, the big blind is on L Pig. In the next hand, it will be on the QP. And it just keeps moving around. Every 10 hands, it goes up, doubles, in fact, to 20, 40, 40, 80, etc. And then culminates in 640, 1,280 blinds, which means it's a bit of a free-for-all at that point. So there you go.
Wow, pretty comprehensive. Thank you very much, Mark. Now, I know we like to have a bit of a giggle on this show, especially when me and you are on it. So I like to pick one of the horses, as it's been Cheltenham week.
Okay.
Let's have a bit of a gamble. Do you fancy bit of a pound bet with me?
I will have a pound bet as long as I can go first.
Okay.
All right. I will pick.
There's no surprise who you're going to pick.
You won't guess who I'm going to pick.
Go on then.
I will pick QP.
I was going to say you're going to pick QP. Actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
How did you know that?
Because I know you've picked him before in the past.
Have I? I haven't.
Yes, you have.
I haven't, but I've seen him play a couple of times, and he plays a good game. So
it was a semi-bluff.
yeah. So
I'll have Hoofy.
Hoofy, okay.
Yeah. Oh look, he's in a pot with him. Oh, he's just made trips.
Oi, QP, what are you doing? 2-9.
I thought we'd just let the viewers know that this is.
Oh, great! This is great, isn't it? Yeah, when I play Beat the Presenter, I get knocked out.
Yeah.
First, and when I pick one,
It's
he plays 2-9 and gets knocked out.
It's like the Banin Bok. Oh, look, he's got a monster hand there. He's got bottom pair with a 2-high flush draw.
QP, what are you doing to me?
Anyway, we'll save that. We'll do double or quits in the next one. I'll tell you what I'll do. Look, I'll stick with Hoofy. I'll let you have another go for another.
All right,
quid.
I'll go for. Who shall I give the curse to this time?
Yeah, the Banin curse.
I will pick PUFC boy.
Okay.
All right, only because he knocked me out last time. So
Really? Okay.
I think he did. That's anyway. He won one last time. So let's see how he do. Now, if you get knocked out, PUFC boy, I'll be sending the boys round.
Must be a Peterborough United fan, I'm guessing. There you go. We'll see what happens. Yeah, the curse of death, eh? Well, you know, 2-high flush draw. It's a big hand in sit and goes.
It is if I'm playing. Perhaps,
it's a play you would have made.
No, not with 2-9.
No.
2-9, I wouldn't be getting too involved.
Especially when Hoofy.
Especially when the tight players.
Yeah, especially when Hoofy comes
out.
over the top.
Yeah, no, that was not me. So we've got one person out so far, which makes it interesting for the other players. It means now there's a bit more money in one person's hand. Everyone else is pretty equal. And also means that the blinds are going to come round to you that little bit quicker. And of course, as the game loses players, it means the blinds come round quicker and it becomes a short-handed game, which means that you have to start being a little looser with your starting hand requirements. And big hands aren't necessarily ace-king, ace-queen at that point. But we're still away from that yet. Still 7 players left, so no immediate rush.
Yeah, second level we're into, aren't we? The 20-40, which is, you know, with 1,000 chips, no real need to start getting too busy or start nicking the blinds with no hand. Would you? Well, I wouldn't say there's any reason to. Would you say, Mark?
No, it's not worth those. These are not blind stealing opportunities. I think, well, certainly not at 10-20. At 20-40, you might chance it a little bit more, just to increase it every now and again, just to buy yourself a free round, but you wouldn't be you wouldn't be doing it every single hand. Well, we've got a couple of interesting hands there. Ace Jack, King Queen, 10 Jack, 7-8 suited and 5-6 offsuit.
There may be a bit of a
offsuit.
Well, there might be a bit of a domino effect here if the PUFC boys calls.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, if he doesn't call, then the value is decreased for every player behind. So
yeah,
I'm sure you'd have seen PUFC boy after his call, maybe even Hoofy, you know,
I think
Yenul,
right.
etc. is going to call as well.
Yeah. Well, there's only one real hand out there at the moment. That's Yenul. You get 160. Sort of a meaty size bet, and no one can call that. So he's going to take down the 60. So he's added 60 to his stack. Probably want to do a little bit more.
Very safe play with Ace King suited, I must say.
Yeah.
Do you think he wanted action with it, raising that much? Didn't look like it, did it?
No, I think he was scared of missing the flop and then not knowing what to do.
But he had position. Situation. He was in late-ish position with his Ace King.
Yeah, well, this is going to be interesting. We've got L Pig with the Queens and Ashbury with the 7s. Now, he's obviously going to call this, I guess. Oh, he's raised. Oh.
Is he trying to find out? Is he going to try and find out where he is with his 7s, maybe?
Well, he's about to find out now, isn't he?
Well,
He's just called.
Oh,
well,
dear.
And that's not a bad flop for a pair of 7s, is it?
That's a good flop for a pair of 7s.
Yeah. So he's got backdoor straight opportunities as well as only being only having one overcard. So.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he's probably just going to flat
nice
call
little
here.
Flat call here, L Pig.
Yeah. Oh look, he's picked up a draw now. 4 or a 9 or a well, 7 won't be any good. Yeah, has to be a 4 or 9.
He's not passing this, is he?
No, it's all going in now. And he doesn't hit, and Ashbury is decimated to 250. It's just well, I didn't pick him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So L Pig doubles up, or as good as. In fact, he did double up. So he's up to 1940. Hoofy's on 1980, and Ashbury's in a bit of trouble now. He's still got 5 times a big blind, so not desperate, but
well, he's in the big
pick his
blind,
moment,
unfortunately.
Can't he?
Yeah, he's in. I know, the blind's gone up now, haven't they? So yeah, he's. He's in a bit of a spot, but he's got a round to stick his chips in.
Yeah,
he can't be letting the blinds go past him.
He can't do it once more. No, that's right.
Wow, El Pig letting go sixes like those 7 deuce off.
Yeah, that could be the part of the reason. The reason he's probably done that, I guess, is because he's just won a nice pot and thinks he's all happy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that
just
after
like
winning
a pig
a nice
in
pot.
muck. Let's have a look. What we've got? Oh, ace queen. I think it's about that time for Ashbury to move in.
Yeah, he's doing it, and he's probably going to get looked up here for the 130. Well, you know, can't afford
I
it,
think
really.
it may be just enough for him to pass, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, 30 or 40 less, I think he's going to have to call with ace-4. But
yeah, the problem was it was a reasonable amount of his chips,
it was. Yeah, he's just got enough to... enough ammo to pass this one.
Yeah, well, PUFC is going to be raising up here, I'm sure of that. He is, and he needs those blinds now. He's starting to get a bit short himself, and he could do that 120 on top of his stack. That's more than 10% of his stack, so he's quite happy to take that down. So no big pocket pairs yet.
Ashbury's going to get a look up this time for sure. Pocket 7s here for Ashbury. Pushing 330 in, no doubt. The hand that actually did all the damage earlier, I'm sure Yanul's going to push as well.
Yeah, he's going to stick all his chips in, isn't he? He wants to also isolate, doesn't he? Doesn't want to take a chance he might call him.
Nice slot for Ashbury.
So far, so good for him.
Yeah, could be a double up.
And it is. Yeah. No.
CL Pig there passing the gut shot powerhouse, the 5 deuce, and he would have won it. Silly boy.
No, wouldn't he? 7s.
Yeah, 5 deuce on the board.
Oh, was there a deuce as well? I didn't see the deuce.
Yeah, the 5 deuce came.
That's your hand, isn't it? The 5 deuce.
The 5 deuce, the powerhouse. Very underestimated hand.
Yeah, with good reason.
The nice thing about 5 deuce, you always know where you are.
Yeah.
Behind.
Muck.
Yeah. Anyway, people at home, you know, the 5 deuce is like it's a loaded gun. You've got to treat it with a lot of respect and be very careful.
Yeah.
With these kind of hands.
Just fires blanks, though, doesn't it, mate?
It's more like a water pistol.
Yeah. A non-powerful one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now 2-3, deuce 3 is a different story.
No, you got to have at least a 2 gapper.
I won my World Series ticket with that.
Really?
Deuce 3. Well, I say I won it. This was in Vegas. These are my reckless days. Yeah, I was in the satellite and I had. I've forgotten his name now. I'll remember it in a moment. He won the EPT at the Vic last year.
Not John Shipley.
Yeah, John Shipley. I had him on my left.
Yeah.
And I'm in the small blind. He's in the big blind. Comes around to me. I've got 2, 3 of hearts.
You push in.
I know. I just limp.
You limp.
I limp.
You're trapping obviously with a 2-3.
Of course. Yeah, that's a decent hand. So I limp.
Yeah.
He raises.
Yeah.
I think, I can't let this John Shipley bully me. All in.
He calls.
He calls. Pocket queens.
Oh, you got
Runner, 2 hearts. Flush. I had 2, 3 of hearts.
You're different gravy. You're different class.
Just to rub salt in a wound,
yeah.
I do the same thing again. I knew he's going to do the same thing again. And this time I had ace king, and he calls me with queen 10 and misses. So, so I knocked him out. And after that, no one. The great thing about that was that was quite early on in the tournament, and it was a $1,000 tournament. So after that, no one wants
to miss you.
No one wants to touch me. They're absolutely.
Well, because you got a mountain of chips, though.
No. It was because they thought I was a lunatic. You know, they saw, and really, I was. You know, to do that in a $1,000 comp.
You are a lunatic.
So they thought after that, and I didn't get touched. I could do whatever I want. I could raise, bluff, re-raise, and they all stay away. So it was great. Yeah, it was really good fun. So we had some other guy with a big stack come onto the table. That was quite funny. He comes onto the table. He's also got a big stack, a little bit less than mine. And I've re-raised him with absolutely nothing. And he looks at my stack. He goes, how many chips have you got? I said, don't worry, you're covered. It's all right, fold. So that was quite good. It's quite a powerful thing, isn't it, chips?
It is. It is very powerful. But you've got to use them correctly. You know, you have to use them correctly. It's not good having chips and then thinking you're the table policeman having to call, you know, the short stack all-ins every time. Especially in a satellite, there's just no point, is there?
Yeah, really? I don't like calling. I like to be the person who arrests them.
Yeah. Look across the table and say, I'll set you all in, that kind of thing. And they kind of big, deep gulp and they have to pass their pocket 9s or something when you've got filth. Oh, your boys are going to be looking good here. Look at this, PUFC with the big slick. Elza Cat's made a bit of a move.
Well... Well, he doesn't want to call for all his chips, though. It's one thing...
What, with ace-king?
I don't think so.
You think he's going to pass this?
Yeah. I'm not saying he will, but I think there's no reason why he should call.
Please. You wouldn't pass Ace King in that position.
Oh dear, not looking good here.
Well, we've got.
No, it's all right. It's fine. Yeah. Well, I'm saying I won't. Because Ace King, at the end of the day, you're just calling with it, aren't you? You've got no hand, and you're just calling.
Yeah, but there's so many hands
that could be
making. But there's so many hands that could be making the move against you that you're dominating. Ace Queen, Ace Jack, Ace 10, King
King
that's
Queen.
True. You know, especially a short stack like the guy was.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm getting too tight, my old age barriers. 1 minute I'm telling you I'm re-raising with 2-3, and
yeah, now you're saying you'd fold Ace King. Should be pretty told should be schizophrenic, Mark Banin.
Yeah, I think I'm working backwards.
Well, they say as you get older, you get tighter.
Yeah, that's true.
Although, unfortunately, you got very tight in about the last 4 minutes after telling the 2-3 story. But you like that, didn't you? You like that story.
That's a nice story, yeah.
I see the glistening in your eye.
Actually, I must admit, I had a good satellite series there. Actually, in that series, like it wasn't last year, it was the year before, I had a confrontation with quite a few players, known players, and yeah, it worked out well in those occasions. I knocked Chip Jet out with 10 deuce against Pocket Kings. In the same satellite, in fact.
Nice. I bet he was over the moon.
Well, he slow played him. It wasn't me being clever with a 10 deuce. He slow played him. I flopped top pair, and he trapped me beautifully, and I hit my deuce on a Turner River.
Oh well.
Yeah. So.
You never thought you'd like maybe kicker problems with your deuce? No.
No, I was short-sighted then. You see, when you start playing, you don't think, oh, what's he limping in with, and all you've got is aggression. And re-raising, but a lot like some of these new players that you see now. You're talking about, we're going to be talking about a little later on about Jen. Yeah. Who someone that you know, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's quite an aggressive player, isn't she? I mean, I haven't played with her, but what I hear.
Tight aggressive.
Right.
She's very careful what she does, and you won't find her getting in pots with with the hands that maybe you and I would play. She's not going to be raising in the mid position.
What are you suggesting, Barry? Hands that I would play?
I'm suggesting that we can. You and I, Mark, are maybe two of the more creative presenters of Poker Night Live. Put it that way, compared to Mr. Browning and people like that.
Oh, Mr. Browning, he doesn't play a hand, does he?
He actually passes jacks on the big blind to a limp. Let's have a look. Oh, your man's going to take a hit here unless he hits a king or a queen. Oh, what a fish. Look.
He's a good player, that PUFC boy.
Yeah, he's marvellous, isn't he?
He's a good player, that PUFC boy.
Queen on the river. It's a 6-outer against poor old Danny B. And we're down to 4 on the bubble.
Yeah.
And he's got my man out chip now.
Yeah.
Although Hoofy has got position.
Yeah. Yanul is... he's collected a free roll there. Bit of a walk. So are you going to be playing any of these lot of tournaments coming up now, haven't we? We've got the Vic, we've got Luton, we've got Reno, we've got Estonia.
Bellagio, the big Bellagio, the World Poker Tour, the 25 grand event, which a lot of people say is probably the best no limit hold'em event on the planet.
It's huge to play, isn't it, in that one? 50, is it a 50 or 100,000 chips you get? 50,000 chips.
50,000 chips.
And 25, 50 blinds.
Yeah,
and
2-hour levels.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
A 6-day event, and last year they got 700-800 players. First prize was like 4 million or something. What a cracking event!
Yeah,
and
we're talking about 1,000 times the starting blinds.
Yeah,
have you ever heard of that before?
Yeah. Well, it is really the the who's who of poker, because all the big players play it. Obviously, all the big players play the main event, but there are not that many events now in the world where all the big players play. And I say the WPT Championship, the one at the Bellagio, the 25 grander is the one that the people would like to win after the main event of the World Series. Have you played the Bellagio? Do you like the Bellagio?
I'm trying to think. I have been there. No, I haven't played there. I've been there,
I've
but
played a couple of events. Really, really good card room. They do a cracking job. It's really well run, and I know a lot of the more senior pros are saying that it is the place to play poker now. It really is the place to play poker. And
have you been to the Win?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite a small card room. Quite a small card room, but it's. Really nicely done out.
And of course they've got the Caesars now. They've just opened a card room too.
They have.
Yeah, apparently.
MGM have got a card room. Aladdin's got a card room. They've all opened card rooms.
Yeah.
Everyone's
apparently the Caesars one is they've really gone.
I've not seen it. It wasn't open. Last year I stayed at the Rio, and we was walking through, walking around.
They hadn't opened it at that point.
They didn't. No, it wasn't open.
No,
it's opened by the same group, isn't it? Caesars is opened by Harrah's, who own the Rio, and Harrah's in the World Series. So.
Well, back to the action here. We've got PFC
63.20. You're going to see some movement now, Mark, aren't we?
We are,
Because,
yeah.
you know,
And he's dominated well. He's nicking him.
nice move. I
Yeah,
like
it was
it.
a good move, yeah.
My
Risky.
man's short stacked. Come on,
Yeah.
Hoofy, start pushing, my man.
Oh, he's got the 3-4 now. LP
Come on,
might.
push. Do it.
Yeah, and he can't call, can he?
Good man. No, he can't.
No.
If he, I'm sure. Well, more likely to be a split pot anyway. But
Yeah.
it's a good move.
Yeah, it was. Timing was imperative there, wasn't it?
Oh, look at this. Might get some action here.
Yeah, he's not going to fold this, is he?
I think the pocket threes. Ace-Jack's going to come over the top all in.
Yeah, which he doesn't mind too much because he's a shorter stack of the rest of them, so
Yeah,
he doesn't mind that one.
1600's a fair chunk of his change, isn't it?
Well, it's another 900 to him, isn't it?
Oh, nice.
Well, he's got
Lots
a
of
flush
outs.
draw and 2 over cards.
So any 7, any 9, any club, any ace, any jack. And
misses
that's
it
not
all.
one of them.
No, gosh.
Oh, dear.
He's like the Terminator, that PUFC boy,
Yeah,
isn't he?
he's been going for him like, you know, a kid in the sweet shop, absolutely picking them off one by one.
And no chances from Yanul with his jacks. And PFC boy can't call with his queen 3. So we're into the money now. Next person to go out gets 16 bucks. Unfortunately, Hoofy just missed out on that. Do need that little bit of fortune when you get sort of around these blind levels. He's probably going to get a walk here, El Pig, which he's going to be extremely happy about. The fact that he's got 2-8 in the big blind, he's going to be very pleased about that. And Yanul is timing, and PFC boy probably has to call here. 360 more to him. I can't see him folding with Jack 9. The guy could be.
What's he dwelling up for?
Yeah, no, there's nothing to dwell on. They've both got the same hand, so it's going to be a split pot. No chance of anyone hitting a flush. So there you go. 2 pair kings and jacks with an ace. They're both probably pleased the fact that.
Yeah, they both had Jack 9. They're quite happy with the split pot,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And well, that was POC boy using his common sense there. He decided to fold, knowing that Yanul probably had to call with almost anything. And
Now he's got a better position.
yeah, now he's going to do it. And Yanul, will he call here?
He's got to call, isn't he?
Think so? He's only calling with it though. He's hoping that El Pig might have something. And that's a nice little takedown there. That's 1,000 chips he's just taken down.
Uh-huh.
So he does that once.
It's a big chunk of change, you know. It's this, of their combined chips, it's nearly a third. It's over a third of their chips. So.
Yeah. And he's just given 640 of it straight back. Not like you could do there with that hand. So it's all about just timing here, isn't it? It's just about, well, look, he's not going to be happy about that. Just winning, he would have preferred to take a chance with that hand, I think.
You think so? Ace King suited?
I think he might, 3-handed.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Maybe for James it might be.
No, that's a definite fold for James.
Well, King 4, he might like the look of that, and he might want to push again, and he should. That's it. That was his killer. He didn't push with that, thinking that POC boy has to call, probably.
It doesn't matter. And, you know...
No, it does,
King's
because
a
he's
big
now
card.
on the big blind.
Exactly, but the King was a big card to be pushing in with. Now he's got 2-3 in the big blind, where he has to call.
Yeah, that's surprising, isn't it? Well, POC boy, I think he let an opportunity go there.
Well, I'll tell you what,
especially for the extra.
El Pig goes as my favourite now because he's been the most aggressive and played the best position out of the 3 players I've seen left. Purely and simply, you know...
Well, he'll call this, won't he?
Absolutely.
641, so there's hardly any extra, and Yanul knows it. That's the problem. Yanul knows that he's not going to lay down.
But what's he going to be left with? He's not even going to cover the big blind the next time round, so he's got no value.
He's got 2
at all.
hands, basically.
Well, no, he has to put it in.
So, ace-6 and
very
ace-6.
nice.
So he needs only an ace will do for him, or a 7.
A diamond now
or a
as well.
diamond.
Lots of outs. And that's one of them.
Yeah.
Good night, Yanul. I'll tell you what, I definitely think El Pig's a favourite now, just purely the way he's played.
Well, he's got the hand here, isn't he? And, whoa, look at that. Now, I think that's a misstep there from POC. He can't afford to do that with Queen 3, not with 2 players. He's just fortunate that the other guy had Ace-Jack, but, you know, the idea of him doing that.
See, nice play again from El Pig. 2 blinds in a row, bang, bang.
Yeah, he has to take a chance with the Queen 3.
Now he's absolutely, well, he's now got to stick it all in with Queen 5.
Well, 6-2, he's got a flush draw. Still got that flush draw.
Lots of outs. And there it is.
There's one of them.
The deuce. El Pig.
Yeah, POC boy, he should have moved with the Queen 3. He couldn't afford to throw that away. I know that he was up against Ace Jack, but once you've got the mentality of doing that, you're going to find it very hard, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. So, well done to Mr. L Pig. You get your pound back for PUFC.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done, POC boy, as well. Yeah, nice little tournament to start off with.
Indeed, indeed. Now, contact details. We'd like to see, we've got a couple of emails and we'd like to see some more emails, more texts. You know, you contacting the show is very, very important because it's your show. Without you, it just doesn't work, really. Now, should we have a look at the text number first?
We shall. Let's go for a text number. 62211 is the text number. And make sure that you put your name in the first part of the text message.
That's very important. We don't like anonymous texts. We like to say, you know, thank you to X or Y or someone like that.
Yeah, and don't forget to have your say. 0906 270 80. 0906 270 80. Leave your message at the end there and press the hash key, and myself and Barry will answer your question so you can hear it live on air. So don't forget, it's good ways of doing it, isn't it?
Yes.
Plus, of course, they can email in.
Email info@pokernightlive.co.uk. That's info@pokernightlive.co.uk. So we'll do what we can to answer your questions in a concise and accurate manner. Or
not too accurate.
Or me and you can answer them.
Yeah, we'll just me and you answer them instead. Cool. Let's head back to what should we dip into? Let's head into our multi-table tournament and see how these boys are faring. Okay. Well,
a fair amount of players tonight, Mark. 249 entrants, starting with on 32 tables. It looks like a fun event.
Yeah, we're already down to 84. So
wow, that's really kicked on this evening, isn't it?
It has. They've only been playing for about an hour and a half, I believe. About half an hour so far. So yeah, they've about an hour, in fact. So yeah, they've really been knocking themselves out, haven't they? So Ace-6 against Andy's Ace-King, and of course Ace King takes it down. I say of course. He was a decent favourite there, about 72% favourite, just under 3-1. So we've got the chip leader on this, Barry. That's Trigv,
I think's the name.
Yeah, so he's chip leader.
Wow, wait, look at that. Nearly 14,500 chips. That's
70 times a big blind,
well,
isn't it?
Yes, that's, you know, go and make a cup of tea, chill out for a bit, and you know, don't get too involved. Would be my idea of this.
Yeah, he's certainly in a very good position at the moment.
So I may have given a bit of false information out there. It's actually poker@pokernightlive.co.uk if you want to get through to the show. That's poker@pokernightlive.co.uk, not info.
What did you say?
I said info@poker. I'm sure it all comes through to the same catch-all address, but hey, just in case you misheard me or heard me correctly, it's poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. So it's you know, it's fast and furious this evening. I've had to put my hand in my pocket and give Mark his pound back, which is a little troubling, considering the amount of moths now have been let out in the studio since Mark opened his purse up. So,
the old Queen was blinking furiously, wasn't she?
Yeah. In fact, it was a florin, I believe, you gave me so long ago. Even. Short arms, long pockets. Yeah, shilling.
Okay,
yeah,
so
should we take a couple of emails, Mark? We've got a couple in from a couple of the viewers.
Why not? Let's do that.
Let's come back into Vision and let's deal with these. Okay, we have an email here from Simon. Morning, Barry and Mark. Morning? Have you just woke up, Simon? You know, it's Poker Night Live, not Poker Night Morning. Okay. Or whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, I've been playing for 9 months now in small stake games with tight, aggressive style, and so far I'm a winning player. Excellent work. However, I've recently tried to vary my game a little by checking a paired board regardless of my cards and betting re-raising on the turn. I seem to have increased my profits in the last month. Is this, in your opinion, a good expectation play, or am I likely to experiencing short-term variance? Great show as always, from Simon. Now, Simon, I like that idea actually, but what I would say, something I would say is, if you're playing the same level of game pretty much all the time, you know, people are going to work this out eventually, what you're doing, okay? Now, if you keep doing this on a regular basis, you're going to run into trouble because, you know, your game plan will soon become pretty apparent to all the players around the table. Now, if you're moving around different sites you're playing, different levels, etc., then I would say, yeah, great, you know, what a nice way to do it. But there are some players out there that do play tricky. They will bet out their trips when they've hit a paired board or their full house, just so they can, you know, carry on the continuation bet, make it look like they've missed, and allow people like you who have this kind of, you know, check, re-raise game plan to trap. Now, you know, a nice style, I agree, but it's something that I would try and vary your play like most things. Okay, try and vary it, move around the tables, try not to become too transparent in your play. That's what I would say. Mark? What
yeah, pretty much. Once you start doing something continuously like that, then people will recognise it. There's no two ways about it. It won't take long before they work it out and they see you making the same play all the time. And it also depends, you know, you've got to realise that it might work, you might find that it works for a couple of sessions and then you find after that it won't work anymore. It is something that there's no methodology to poker. You know, you can't just sit down and say, okay, well, I'm going to check raise a turn and re-raise a flop, or do, you know, some kind of combination of these things. People will realise what you're doing, and it very much depends on, one, the players you're up against, and it also depends on, you know, the texture of the flop as well. You can't just do it, you know, regardless of what the flop is or regardless of what players you're playing against, because, you know, people will play differently against you, and whilst it might work on one or two sessions, you'll find that in the long run, I think it's a negative expectation just to make the same move continuously. Unless, of course, you do what Barry says, and that is move around different poker sites and do it with all different players. But let's face it, most people don't play 10, 15, 20 poker sites. No,
they don't. So Simon, you know, be very careful in this, but like Mark said, don't have, you know, you can't play poker with just, you know, a game plan of playing exactly the same way every hand, because, you know, you have to play the position, you have to play your stack, you have to play the other players on your table. All these things make, you know, make us, I mean, poker players in general, better players. So you have to use all the tools and all the information necessary to try and improve your game. And sometimes this play's going to work, you know. If you find an aggressive player doing this on a paired board and you're absolutely certain, irrelevant, it may be a flush board, it may be a straightening board, this play will work quite a few times, but, you know, be careful. If you come up against the rock and he starts re-raising you, you've probably done a fair chunk of change in this pot. Anyway, Simon, thanks for the email, and, you know, keep watching the show. Hopefully that was of some interest to you. Now, got a text from Dude, Where's My Cards? Interesting. The site I play on has no limit games of 1 cent, 2 cent, 2 cent, 4 cent, and 5 cent, 10 cent, but each table has a max buy-in of $5. Which table do you think I should play on, and what would be the benefits? Interesting. Okay. Well, the benefits are, you know, difficult to answer. What is your bankroll? If you've got a bankroll of, say, you know, $2 or $3 you want to play, then I would play at the absolute minimum level you possibly can. Especially if you're a new player to online poker, I would try and, you know, get in very, very cheap. You know, understand what's going on with the site, what the buttons do, how you can re-raise, how you can pass, how you can do all the things you need to do as far as the site goes, and take it from there. And until you feel comfortable at the absolute smallest level, I wouldn't move up. Purely and simply because, you know, you don't want to get hurt. And if you're looking at these size tables, which you're looking at, you know, I wouldn't really think about moving up until you're fully comfortable with both the way you're playing, the style of play that's going on these particular tables, and the level that you're playing at. Mark?
Yeah, I think the regular game that you can play is the 2 cent, 4 cent game in terms of the $5 max buy-in, because that gives you what you call a regular game, you know, just over a little over 100 times the buy-in. I think that works out. So yeah, it does. So if you're playing in a 1 cent, 2 cent game, it means there's a chance for you to be a little bit more creative with your $5, because your 2 cents are going to go a lot further because you've got double the amount of the buy-in. By the same token, if you're playing a 5 cent, 10 cent game in a max $5 buy-in, it means that you're a little bit more limited as to what you can do, and you should play a little tighter. So that's the only thing I would say, is that you can loosen up in a 1 cent, 2 cent, be a little bit more creative. In the 5 cent, 10 cent, I would say you need to tighten up slightly. By the same token, you know, it's all about the players you're playing against. If you're playing against tight players on one table and loose players on the other, then you have to adjust accordingly.
Thank you, Mark. Now, okay, what I would add to that as well is that, you know, if you are, any viewers out there that are playing on the fun money sites, or fun money tables, and would like to move up and start playing these are the kind of tables I would recommend, because you'll find that the plays, when you actually start playing for real money, the play is different. And I would say that the sooner you can move up to these smaller limit tables, the better, because it will totally change your game. Okay, so dude, where's my car? Thank you very much for the text. Keep them coming in. Let's go back to a table, I think, Mark. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think there was a sit and go that we popped in earlier that looked like it was progressing. That other one finished quite quickly, so let's head over to that $20 sit and go that we had a little look at. So they're up to blinds of 163.20. There are 6 players remaining in this one, and a lot of chips in the middle on this one, Barry.
Ace-9, huh? Mm.
Well, so no blind. So who do you fancy here?
Let's have a look. I'm not going to pick Snowblind because he's got all the chips. That'd be vastly unfair.
Okay, we'll have to pick one of the other 3 low stacks. One of the 4 low stacks.
Okay, I'll go for... It's an easy cop-out. I'll go for Johan.
Okay, I'll go for Trickster.
Okay.
Oh, you missed it. His timing wasn't too good, mate.
Marvellous, yeah.
6
Come
or
on,
a 5.
give me a 6 or a 5 or an 8.
No. Go on, and you can pick one of the other 2.
All right.
Well, in fact, he's not short stacked anymore, so you've only got one. Tiger.
I'll have Pooh Stash. Look, okay, some stats for us here. The percentage of pre-flop folds, very, very difficult to say, but percentage of pre-flop folds. Now, which way is it? It's this way. Oh, it's over this way. No, it's this way, look. It's your side, Mark. Point up to the... Make it look like it's actually next to... There we go. I know you want to... That's better. So, Jon Rees has been the tightest player. That's it. Well done, Mark.
There you go.
You're doing a fine job. In fact, have you ever tried to present a weather programme? Yes, we've got a cold front coming in. Stuff like that. Anyway, look, we've got Jon Rees, 88, has been the absolute rockiest of rock players there, 87%. And we've got AK Siaka, 48%. And Envision there on the left-hand side of your... Or left-hand? Yeah, left-hand side of the screen was not a rock. Okay, you would be down the bottom there, Mark, I'm sure, when it comes to a percentage of pre-flop folds.
No, I'm actually a tight player on these sit and goes usually.
Really?
Yeah. Sit and goes I play tightly.
How have you done so far on the presenter?
I've done pretty well. First, and
you're talking about going out.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, there you go. Some percentage of pre-flop folds for you, telling you who's the tightest and who's not. And the tightest and the loosest have actually both gone, which tells you something about sit and goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got the same scenario again. This time there's no way out for Trickster. And he's gone now.
So the presenter Bock has played double trouble here. Go on, have Snowblind, because we've both got the similar chips.
Who? Snowblind? Okay, go on.
Have Snowblind, because... Oh, he's gone all in. What's this? Come on, ST, call him. We joined this thing, well, it's pretty deep into it. What was we, 7-handed, and we've gone bang, 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 6-handed, and we've lost 2 already. So
yeah.
Both our horses.
Yeah, perhaps we'd better keep our mouth shut.
No, yeah, it's a bit of fun to, I suppose, at the end of the day.
Not for them if we knock them out.
No, exactly.
Give them the commentator's curse. So, Snowblind. Well, he didn't raise with that king. Interesting.
Maybe he wants... Maybe, has he planned that tie? He wants to get... tight Tilly D out? I don't know. Possibly he's waiting for them.
I don't blame him, because he's right on the cusp of going out, isn't he? Although he's managed to survive one more round. And what's he going to do here? Is he going to be pushing? And he realises that if he pushes, then Pustash will not definitely call, but there's a very strong possibility he'll call with any hand. Well, he's got a real hand this time, 590, and he probably thinks, well, big blind, not big blind, I'm pushing here.
He's going to find the hand he doesn't really want to see, 2 live cards. And what? No.
Yeah, he folded.
He folded that?
Well, he had 5-3 or something, didn't he?
So what? Yeah. 4-5? He was getting like 5-1 on his money. He had to put another, a very marginal bowl of rice into this one to win a big, well, not that big a pot, but the value he was getting was enormous. And he keeps passing like that. This
I think
Timothy is going to catch up.
Yeah, he could have had a chance of knocking him out there.
I think Snowblind's going to push in, and they're going to call, and the 6 would go for a race here, I think. Yeah.
6 is ace 9. Well, a 7 won't do it, will it? No.
The king will do it. King, ace, or 9 will do this. And that's good enough.
Kings and 7s with an ace.
Yeah, beats
kings and 7s with a 6.
Yeah.
Well, 6s didn't play in the end. Pocket pair no good. 2 pocket pairs bigger on the board means those are the ones that play.
Yeah.
You play your best 5-card hand. In that case, it was kings and 7s. So we're down to 3 players now. This is a $20 sit and go. So if we just double all those figures I gave you last time, that'll mean $80 for first, 48 for second, and 32 for third.
ST moving in with his ace-jack. I wonder if he's put... Oh, dear. Poostash finding a hand that he felt he wanted to call with. And he's going to be crippled.
Yeah, he's not in good stead now, is he?
No, not really.
Well, he's in the money, I suppose, so that's probably what he was thinking.
Yeah. He's found a hand to defend his 110 with.
Well, top pair.
Got 2 overs. Still got 2 overs. 6 outs, and that's one of them.
Yeah, he's hit it on the end. Well,
was it get 330 back? I think. Yeah, 330.
Yeah, he doesn't get the 1390 that we see in the pot there.
Yeah, so he's got a free roll after 3-5. He's pretty dominated, actually.
And you might be wondering why he only gets 330 back, and it's quite simple. He only had 110 to start. You can only win what you put into the pot, and as ST and Snowblind both put in money into the pot, it means he just gets triple his money back. One lot of 110 from ST and one lot of 110 from Snowblind.
2 live cards again here, Mark, for Poostash. Needs to hit one of them, though, and that's not, and we're now heads up.
We are indeed. So they both got similar kind of chips, although Snowblind's got a slight advantage. And
this is all over.
This is the hand, isn't it?
This is it. No, neither are passing. It's going to be going all in. Thank you very much. And here's the jack.
Well, so it's not all over yet. That means that Snowblind is
he's got less than 2 big blinds though. So it's
well, it's pushing in next hand, isn't it?
Yeah,
regardless.
Should we say it's tipped the scales in one particular direction here for ST?
I think we can say that.
Oh dear, this is not the hand he wanted to find king 3. Oh, nice out. Hit his 3 outer. Moved in with the king 3, and it got no spades in his hand, so he's got to hit his remaining 3, which he didn't, and he's back in it now.
He's hit his flush.
One double up away from the chip lead. So,
how things swing.
So we moved up now. 640, 1280.
Well, he can't afford to give those away, can he?
No.
And
he's going
to push, and he's got a call. So 10-6 against 10-9, he's got dominated, and looking for a 6 and a 6 only. Or in fact, an overcard to the 10 would have split the pot. Yeah, so it doesn't appear.
All done.
So we're all done. ST is the winner,
yep.
And Snowblind is second. Well done, guys. Good game. Good game.
Let's look at the old scoreboard. Actually, let's look at the pre-flop action. So, this is some nice information here market can tell us. So we can look at the hands dealt, as you can see down the first column, and the percentages raid and the amount of calls. So if you look at how much raising's been going on, Trickster, which was your choice early on, was obviously the most aggressive there with 15%. And you got Tiger Tilly D with only 1% of hands raised. You must say was that kind of passive
too passive, isn't it? You can't just keep calling all the time.
You can't, no. And you'll see that there's some correlation between raised and called. You'll find that most of the people who have got a high percentage in the raise box is usually lower in the called. Unless you're an action player where you're calling and raising lots of pots. But
you certainly want to be in a situation in these sit and goes. You want to have a sort of I think a split is probably not a bad way to go. Because they are fast. But so you don't want to keep raising too often because it means you're just committing too many chips each time. They are fast. It means that if you are raising too often, you are just going to end up putting in a chunk of change all the time that you're going to be pot committed a lot of the times. And, you hit any part of the flop, you just can't fold. So you are risking a lot more by continuously raising. But you do need to have an even mix, I think, on these sit and goes.
Yeah, no, you do.
If it was slower pace, then I'd say that it's a good thing to be a better raiser. But as it's so fast, if you keep raising all the time, you're just going to find yourself pot committed.
Yeah, and I think the underlying information there really is No limit hold'em tournaments is not really a calling game, is it?
No.
It's a raising game and a folding game. That's it. Would you not say?
Yeah, pretty much. You get your most success when you're either raising or re-raising.
I think the fold is a very underestimated play.
Is it?
Don't you think so?
What, the fold?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't know much about that.
Well, I know one thing. You can't lose when you fold.
Well, you can.
How?
Well, if you put already a big chunk of money in there
before. You can't go out, I mean, if you fold.
Not on that hand.
So I'm just repeating what TJ Cloutier said in one of his books, you know. The fold is a very underestimated play, you know. I'm sorry, but TJ is a pretty wise and old fellow that's been around the block a few times.
Yeah, I think you've coined it there. I think you've coined the remark there. He's a pretty wise, so you have to ask how much true information is going to go into that book.
Don't you believe his book?
Well, to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I was sitting at the table with him in that particular World Series that I won satellite for. He was on my first table, and someone said, "Oh, I didn't see that in your book, TJ." He goes, "I don't put everything in there." He goes,
"Well, no, you read his book. You read his book, and he comes across like an absolute rock."
He does, yeah.
And he doesn't play like a rock.
Of course not. No, he doesn't. So he does play a lot looser than what you see in there. So you've got to appreciate these guys are there to make money, and by the same token, they've got to keep one or two of their secrets.
That's a little unfair because I know when Doyle bought his first book out, Super System, which is probably renowned as one of the greatest poker books ever written to date, very much the case that he said he absolutely opened his heart out about everything he knew about poker and got it in the book amongst all the sections that he got all the very best pros in, whether it be high, low, 5-card draw, 7-card stud, etc., etc. He put into the book, and he said that he did what he possibly could in the book. So
yeah.
And he said he had to basically change. He said he had to change his game totally after the book because everyone could read what he was doing.
Yeah. So and now he's back doing the same thing again.
Yeah.
So it's gone full circle.
It's all cyclical.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to a quick email here from your boy PUFC or Posh Boy. I knew it was a
Posh Boy.
Yeah, Peterborough United. You're not much of a football fan, are you?
Not Peterborough. No, I don't know much about Peterborough.
Peterborough. So he's the Posh, I believe. Come on, the Posh. I'm an Arsenal fan. Hi guys, thanks for your comments on the tourney. Glad Mark got some money back after my Kings bust him last time. That's a bit of a rub down, isn't it?
I had King. You know what happened?
What?
I raised an early position with 7-8, of course. He re-raises. It's a smallish re-raise. I call. Flop comes King 7-8. He's got sitting there with a set of kings, and I've got 2 pair. I'm not folding.
Shame. Yeah. I'm sorry. Nice one, Posh Boy. Well done. What I will say for PNL is that I'm getting much more short-handed practice than I, thanks to all I've learned from you guys on PNL on the $10 sit and go. Thanks a lot. No problem. Keep watching the show. However, my short-handed play leaves a lot to be desired. That fear of going all in with Queen 3, seeing the Ace-Jack and feeling like a Muppet fish. Okay. Any tips gratefully received. Look. We try and give you as much advice as we possibly can. All we're saying, what we're trying to point out was, against a random or a couple of random hands, Queen's invariably going to be winning. Okay, the guy had Ace-Jack. There you go. You was going to get unlucky. But, the blinds were thus, whereby statistically and positionally, we felt that you had to be pushing in there.
You had no choice, yeah.
You had to push in, Posh, There was no other way you could play that. You passed, and as soon as we passed, Mark and I said, your tournament's over. You're going to struggle now because you've let that opportunity go because you was on you would have got called and you would have had 2 live cards and you would have been behind. Granted, okay, I understand that. But you really had to be making a move in that position, irrelevant of what hand you had. Now, you had a face card, be pushing in there. And I'm sure the more you play, the more you watch Poker Night Live, the more short-handed practice that you get. And, if you can get short-handed practice, great, you're getting in the money, so you must be doing something. Right.
And of course, Barry, the thing was with that, we're talking about long-term expectation as well. So
yes.
The Queen 3, if he keeps doing it over the 20 period, 20 games,
short-handed
in that situation, then it's going to be a successful play overall.
Excellent.
I think it's time we have to take a break, isn't it?
We do. Posh.
Oh, phone call first.
Okay.
Let's go to our phone call.
Yep. Okay. I think we've got Tony TK Kendall on the line. Are we going to go to him very shortly?
Yeah. Let's go to him. Let's just get him hooked up.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, yes, welcome back to Poker Night Live. Now, that part of the show where we're going to actually go to our phone in. I think we've got Mr. Tony TK Kendall with us this evening. Very pleased to be joined by Tony. Tony, are you there? Can you hear us?
I'm here, Barry. How are you?
Excellent. I'm very well, Tony. How's yourself? Where do we find you this jolly evening? Somewhere in international poker land?
Well, Ilkeston in Derbyshire, home as it happens, for a change.
See, I set you up like that, Tony, and you tell me Ilkeston in
Yeah,
Derbyshire.
1 week it's Monte Carlo, then it's Moscow. This week it's Ilkeston. Who you got with you tonight?
Mr. Prince Charles himself, Mr. Mark Banin.
Yeah,
I
there's
always get confused between...
royalty in the house, Tony.
Good evening, Mike. I always get confused between you and your brother. One of you is a very good poker player. One of you is quite younger and handsome. Which is weird.
Yeah, well, he's the better poker player. Yeah. I'll go for the handsome, I
You
think.
couldn't win really there, could you?
Huh?
You couldn't win. You was either ugly and a good player or a bad player and good looking.
Yeah, he's good looking and a good player, so...
Yeah, well. You're very good looking, Mark, actually.
Yeah, so they say.
So, Tony, Monte Carlo, we saw the end of the last series of the EPT. You was there. Anything you can report back?
The astounding thing for me, I mean, we've got lots of things we can talk about in Monte Carlo, but there was a young lady there who I believe you know very well, Jen Mason, who put up a quite incredible performance. She was leader at the end of day one, and she was deep into day two when her aces got turned over by a gentleman with 7-5. But she tied these guys up in knots. She absolutely did. She didn't have cards most of the competition, but she's got incredible game. She puts reads on people. She's re-raising people on the end time after time. And they look at this little girl who's like, 6 stone and slight and small, and she's sitting there with a little, I'm small, please don't hurt me look. And she's robbing them blind. You must have some memories of Jen.
Yeah, well, actually, the day we opened the Gutshot card room, Jen was one of our first dealers there, Tony. So I know Jen very well. She worked for us for 16 or 17 months. A lovely girl was Jen. And, as you say, very tricky player. You look at her, she weighs absolutely nothing, But, what a fine display. And did she actually make the money, Tony?
She didn't make the money. The event before that was the EPT Deauville, where quite an amazing thing happened, and a lot of people have a different view on this, but the bubble was 40. Bubble was 41. 40 got paid. She's got 25,000 chips. There's 41 left. She raises 6,000 out of her 20-odd thousand with ace-king. John Houston sets her all in. Now, Jen has got a chance here. She passes his hand and makes 4,000 euros for making the cash, or she gives herself a playable stack. She doesn't hesitate. She pushes the chips in. He's got queens. It's a race. His queens hold up. She loses and she's out. But she never regretted it. She went for the win rather than hanging into the money. Not everybody would have done that. No,
indeed, Tony. And it's good to see Jen on the, as the record said, Jen on the block. It's good to see her about. But she's a young player. One of the new breed of poker players. And there's some great young players about now, Tony, isn't there? People like Patrick Antonius, Noah Boak, and people like this. Anyone you would want to tip for the top going forward?
Certainly Antonius is quite extraordinary. I mean, the story of Antonius turning up at the EPT Baden, giving everybody a 5-hour start, which of course you can't do in most of the UK casinos, but he's turned up 5 hours late, and he's absolutely walked it. And to those that thought it was a fluke, he's then gone to America and picked up a 7-figure payday. Now, I actually watched him in Deauville playing 4 tables online, 300, 600 simultaneously. And the boy's good looking as well. Well, he's got everything.
Wow. Okay. Look, Tony, we've got a couple of moments left. The last thing, you'll be around the circuit. They've got the Vic coming up very shortly. Give us 15 seconds of what's coming up there.
Well, the Vic starts, oddly enough, it starts on Saturday, which is an unusual day for a festival to start. But the main event starts on Thursday. There's 2 opening days, Thursday and Friday. Then day 2 will be Saturday and the final on Sunday. So to accommodate that, the festival actually starts on Saturday with a 200 pot limit hold and rebuy. Then they have a super set on the Sunday for the main event. And then there's a very nice comp on the Monday, which is a 750 freezer, which, if I'm not mistaken, Lucy Rocash has done well in a couple of years running.
Yeah, she's done pretty well recently there, I think, Lucy.
So that's going to be a good festival. It goes on Tuesday to...
Tony, I'm afraid we're going to have to cut in there, Tony, because we're just about running out of time.
We are. We're going to go for a break. Tony, TK Kendall, thanks for joining us. Be back after the break. Good evening, welcome back. Poker Night Live. I'm Barry the Bully Martin, alongside Mr. Mark Banin. got an email we're going to look at before we go back to the tables, and we're going to also be starting off the Beat the Presenter. So if you're looking to play against me this evening, get ready on your single table sit and goes and see if you can outdraw me. Or I can outdraw you. We'll see. Usually that's the latter's the case. Anyway, quick email from Carrie. Hi guys. Since September, when I first met BF, I've become,
my
boyfriend. BF, boyfriend. So it must be a text message, I'm sorry. My kids, they'd have told me what it meant. When I met my boyfriend, I've become a Poker Night Live widow. But now, 6 months later, I've unwittingly been learning how to play poker. Good shout. He's been watching it when I'm asleep. Okay, so it's like kind of sinking in.
Well, you do have that effect on people, Barry, so I've heard.
Going to sleep?
Yeah, making people fall asleep.
Really?
This is what I've heard.
Oh, excellent. Okay, let me do the jokes, yeah? Can't get the staff, what can you do? Stand in. I was going to get a mannequin for the evening. He's been watching it when I've been asleep. Poker facts have now been pushing other more important info from my brain. I'm a complete poker widow. As he's gotten really good at poker now, what's a girl to do? I don't know. Go shopping?
New boyfriend?
eBay? You know, how about a new boyfriend? You know, it's a possibility. I don't know. Watch more Poker Night Live. You know, try and get a laptop and play against him, or the other side, and knock him out, get him on tilt. Any ideas?
Well,
you're in touch with your feminine side, Mark.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure which side it is. That's the only problem. Or what half of that matter.
Your pretty side.
The pretty side.
The pretty side.
Okay, that's pretty much all of it. I will say that probably a good thing to do, but perhaps you want to join them. You know, if you can't beat them, join them, as they say. So that's another alternative. I don't think shopping at sort of midnight is going to really do the trick. Go out on a few girly nights out. You know, that might be a little thing that might get him off poker a little bit. But don't worry, they come down after a while, don't they? It's always a new thing. When you start playing, you can't get away from it, especially in the initial stages.
New underwear.
Yeah, I think
it worked for you.
What, wearing them or buying some?
Both, really, I believe. I don't know.
Oh, well. I have to tell all my secrets, Barry.
Yeah, well, I did see you coming out the toilets. The girls' ones, my head. Yeah. Anyway, look, that's enough of that. Carrie, thank you very much for this. And, let's keep the emails, texts, everything coming into the show because, as we said earlier, it's your show. And the more we hear from you, the happier me and young Mr. Banin are. So we want to hear more from it. So, how to get in contact with the show. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. That's poker@pokernightlive.co.uk.
I've told you not to mention those things before, Barry.
Oh, sorry, Mark. And you can text the studio at 62211. Stop touching me under the table, Mark. And also, you can have your say on Poker Night Live. That's 0906 200 7080. 0906 200 7080. Sorry, this is Mark tickling me again. So, Beat the Presenter. Here we go. You can play every night from 11 p.m. You can see it on the screen. Come and play us against the presenter this evening. Tonight, you get lucky enough to play against the bully himself. That's me. Outdraws, everything going on. I'll be doing my very, very best to nick your blind. So watch out. That's all I can say.
You're doing your breast to do.
Doing my breast. Yes. No,
So
look. It's all about having a big pair.
Yeah, so I can say. But tell me something.
Yes.
Yeah. Is this chip stack meant to tell us something?
It is.
Is it?
It means that I'm pretty well stacked.
Yeah. So I see.
See, you're not quick enough for me, Mark.
Yeah. Very well stacked indeed.
Look, we're going to go back to the lime green table very quickly. See how the MTT, the multi-table tournament, is going on. Looks. I believe we've hit it at a perfect time. Look at this. Pocket nines, ace, queen. Oh, queen on the river.
Good flop for him.
Tadger 15 loses
a favourite.
Monster pot. And this is the big stack table, as we can see, because we have, looking around...
Jiggly nuts.
Well, we've got two very big stacks, haven't we? The Writer and Jiggly Nuts. Both in pretty, I would say, pretty good shape, Mark, wouldn't you?
Yeah, pretty good shape.
50 big blinds? 50 big blinds.
Yeah, not doing too badly at all. So I think you're going to be heading over to one of those tournaments, Barry, are you?
I'm trying my very best to sit down. Oh, that's already filled up. Okay. Oh, there you go. I tried to sit down in a Okay. Okay, let's try another table. I'm going to sit down very quickly in another one of the tables. Anyway, so two of the chip leaders in the table, 20 and 25,000. Look at this. Anyway, look, they can see the values turned up on the table that I've gone to.
Yeah,
Right?
they're very quickly filling up.
Filling up very quickly. They're seeing the value, and looking forward to taking them. I mean, having some fun with them.
Okay, so while Barry does that, I'll take over this side of the commentary. And this is disturbing me, Barry. I'm afraid I'm going to have to reduce your
Get your hand off
stack.
my stack.
Yeah, your stack has to change.
Yeah. So they caught you, didn't they?
I couldn't help myself.
It's the only way you can get your hand on my chips.
It is,
Big boy.
absolutely. Listen, we won't talk about me getting hold of your chips.
Oh, come on. You're not going to go back to that presenter show again, are you? That's like a stuck record with you.
What?
The only time you've ever beat me in a pot, ever.
That's the only time I've played you in a pot.
No, it's not true.
Isn't it?
No.
When have I played you before?
At Luton. I remember I trapped you perfectly. You overplayed Ace-Jack once against me in a £50 rebuy.
I don't recall that.
Yeah. See, you've got a very short memory. A selective short memory.
When was that?
Oh, ages ago.
Ages ago. Probably before I knew what I was doing. Well, that hasn't changed much, yeah. Okay, let's head back to that multi-table tourney. Okay, so we've got Jiggly Nuts with the chip lead at the moment, and there's PUFC boy multi-tabling. We saw him earlier on the sit and go, coming second. Well done. And at the moment, there's 36 players remaining, and that's across 5 tables, so lots to aim for. Of course, we'll go down to 4 tables after another 4 get knocked out. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. We've got A6 in a small blind. Will he be interested in calling this? I don't think he should be. It's a pretty poor hand, out of position. It doesn't look like it's a steal from that early position. So the bully's underway in his tournament. And
I can't believe I actually folded 6-9 in the cutoff.
What, just now?
Yeah. Can you believe that?
No, it's very unusual for you. So a pair of kings here in the small blinds.
So I'm going to keep hitting you with these random comments, Mark, just to keep you on your toes.
But that's not really fair, is it? You're just telling the other players, because they can hear you. You're just telling the other players what you folded, so you're giving them information. I'm trying to get them off the scent, you see. Yeah, but the hand isn't over, so
it was over.
No,
the hand before. No, not the hand.
Oh, okay.
Exactly, a bit of a TJ going on.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, I think that stuff that you've been putting in your hair has gone to your head.
It's on my head.
That's what I mean. It's gone through it.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah. What is that anyway?
It's just kind of barely clutching onto my youth. That's all.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, I was going to go for the ex-Wham look, but I thought I'd just something a bit more modern.
Yeah. Well, you certainly got the Georgie Michael there, haven't you? Yeah, so.
More like Georgie Best.
Let's get back. So I think we'll stick with this for a little while, then perhaps we'll head over for a short while, then we'll head over to a little cash game. We'll just see how these boys fare for the next few hands. And Golgot has managed to get the Poker Night Live lozenge.
The lozenge?
Yeah, the lozenge.
Ah, is that what it is? Is that like the nuts?
No, it's the lozenge.
Okay.
Well, he's got your favourite hand, Barry. 2-5 suited. Oh, and he's called with Jack Queen, not surprisingly, and he's picked up a monster of a hand.
Yeah.
He's beating any pair at the moment with that Jack Queen suited, any underpair to the Jack, that is.
Well, yes, statistically he is, isn't he?
And he's done the right thing, as far as I'm concerned. He's pushed all in. And wins it. Well done, Ace Hole. That was well played. I'll have a little look for you, see what games we've got for you, whether we're going to go to sit and go or a cash game. Had a couple of sit and goes, and no doubt in an hour or so we'll see Barry. We'll have a good laugh at Barry playing. So probably see if we can fit in for a cash game for our cash game junkies. Okay, we'll have a look at, we'll make this the last hand in fact, and we'll just head straight over there. We'll be popping in and out of this multi-table anyway. So top pair for the writer, and two big stacks are battling out here, but the writer's in a good position, although that's an interesting bet, 2,499. And probably the ace-king should be risking 20% of his, well, 10% of his stack on the missed board, and he's done the right thing by laying it down, I think. So well played Jiggly Nuts, and well played the writer. Both played their hands appropriately. And we move on to a 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. So we're looking at a cash game that is different from a tournament, in as much that first thing that you notice is that what they're playing for are real bucks. They've actually got real dollars in front of them. They put in anything up to, in this particular example, $50 is the maximum they can buy in, or a minimum buy-in of $5. They can sit with anything with between 5 and 50, or anything in between, and subsequently it's their job to try and accumulate as much cash as they can. Now the lovely thing about this is that you can play for 5 minutes, you can play for 5 hours. The choice is yours, whether depending on how much time you're doing, or how well you're doing, or what you think the nature of the table is like. Totally up to you. If you do lose all your chips, you can dip your hand back into your pocket and reload up to the tune of $50. As we can see, Johan is doing pretty well. He could have only started with a maximum $50. He might have even started with less than that, but he's already up to 104, which means that he's earned at least $54.35 so far. Well, that's a pretty good flop for Lucky AAA, top pair, top kicker. And he wins it down. So the blinds are what determine this particular game. This particular one is 25 cent, 50 cent. That's the forced blinds. Every hand someone has to put in a 50 cent blind. Every hand someone has to put in a 25 cent blind. And this time it was, just a moment ago, it was Miss Chippy with a big blind. And it just revolved around the table, one hand at a time, in a clockwise direction. So you can see this time Ashtray's got it. And obviously next time after that, Smoking Piper will have it. Before play continue, they've got to match any raised bets. In this case, Lucky Ace is raised with the 6-7, and he's just stolen 75 cents. So that goes onto his stack. So cash game plays a little bit differently to a tournament. For new people out there wondering what the main differences are, first thing, in a tournament you've got an element of survival, which you just don't have in a cash game. It's not important to survive, you just play every situation as it occurs and try and maximise those situations, maximise the percentage plays. That's the nature of cash games, whereas in tournaments you're offsetting those percentage plays with surviving the tournament. So sometimes it can actually be the right thing to actually fold a marginal advantage just in case you get knocked out. Whereas in a cash game you would never be in a situation where you need to fold a marginal advantage, because you want to take every percentage point that's in your favour. Well, 10 Jack here. It's a nice hand to play, but he's decided not to call for the raise. He was out of position, which is would have been interesting for him, but we can see that he would have flopped an up and down straight draw, but of course Mogans would have made him pay for that. He would have been betting away at that pot, and it would have been costing him each time a few dollars to actually try and hit that straight. And in the end, Johan had the ace-king, didn't hit by the turn, and thought, well, okay, there's no point keep chasing this. And he was quite right. How's it going so far, Barry? Much progress, or nothing changed?
All I can tell you is that I'm still in.
Okay. Well, you've gone further than me then.
Yeah, they said that. Barry, a big sigh of relief. Barry, you know, Barry's still in. He beats Mark.
Right, don't worry, guys. I'll be watching your play a little later. Beats Mark.
Well, the blinds have just gone up anyway, so it's time to get a bit busy.
Well, so Ace King suited for Mogans on the cutoff. He's made it up to 250, which is a little bit on the heavy side for me. 5 times the big blind's a little bit on the heavy side because you've got a nice hand, you've got good position, and I think you're in a very powerful position. So when you've got Ace King suited, you actually want to encourage people to call you, and you especially want to encourage the Ace 10s, the Ace Jacks, the Ace Queens, because if that Ace hits, guess what? You're going to get a whole bunch of chips from them. So Ace King plays well. I appreciate that you're going to miss the flop in a lot of cases, but on the occasions that the guy hits his flop and you've hit yours, and they've got a weaker holding than you, Ace King, as I said, Ace Jack or Ace 10 or Ace 9 or something even worse, then you get paid handsomely. So all you win in that case is the 75 cents, where you could be winning quite a few dollars. So it does depend on the position, though. So position is an important factor. You have good position, you've got good cards. I wouldn't try and scare people off. If you don't win with it, you don't win with it. But there is a good chance that you only need to win one of those types of hands where the other guy's got Ace Jack or Ace 10, and it pays for all the times you've missed with it. That's the great thing about it. Well, Johan doesn't want to see a flop, and he's just announced that, really. He's on the button, he's got good position, and I don't blame him here. He knows that he's going to be up against 1 or 2 overcards, almost certainly. So, and then he just don't know where he is. In fact, he was actually in a very strong position there because Mogan's had an underpair to him. But, you know, that guy hits his 3, Johan won't see it, and he's likely to pay him off. So, lots of different ways of playing those pocket pairs. You can look to hit your set, you can look to try and nick the blinds. When I say nick the blinds, you're not really stealing them with pocket pair. Mogan's with the 7-10 suited. He's in position here. He might try a little steal. He's seen weakness, but as we can see, weakness is not really weakness. Ashtrays has a strong hand. Now, he's put a nice bet out there. He's bet the pot. Now, almost if any one of these guys calls him, then he's got to ask himself, have they got a monster? Are they looking at a flush draw? That's the only hands that they could possibly be calling with in that situation, monster or flush draw. Well, we didn't need that ace to house him up because he's already hit quads. Now he's bet 3. Obviously, the Mogans has got absolutely nothing. He's deciding whether he's actually up against a bluffer who's missed his flush draw, or is he up against a big hand? He decided it wasn't worth finding out. I've got absolutely nothing. I'll have to risk half my stack on a bluff, if not more. Let's just forget about it. And he's done the right thing. Mogans has got to be calling with something. And even if he has got a flush draw, he's probably beating him anyway. Probably likely to be better than 10 high. Well, we've got another interesting hand developing here. And he thinks he's got a few extra outs there. He has got, well, he's got a 9, a jack or a queen. We'll do it for him. Although, Of course, Miss Chippy has got some outs too. A 7 will make Miss Chippy a straight. Doesn't want to see that 9 making 2 pair though. That's for sure. And he's wondering whether he's up against. He's wondering whether he was up against a better hand, and Smoking Piper used his good draw to actually win the pot, and that's a good way of playing it. When you've got a draw with a few outs like that, but you're actually behind to any pair, then that's not a bad way of playing it. Actually try and win it while you're actually drawing, and if you don't draw, and if you don't manage to push the guy off, then at least you've got some cards that you can actually win it with. And that was a good play there by Smoking Piper. Now we've got my lunatic friend on the table there, QP. Played very wildly and aggressively earlier on with his 2-9 offsuit. Let's see what he does with his pair of 7s. Ace Queen for Keir, who been called by QP, a raise by Keir, called by QP, and will he try a re-raise here? Was he thinking that his 7s might still be good? And he just called. Interesting. Now Keir is wondering, he might just try and set him all in here, thinking that he's got some overcast to hit. He can hit an ace, a queen, or a king. And he's basically saying, commit your chips. And what's Creepy going to do? Well, that's an interesting call. I don't know why he's just calling there. He might as well just shove his chips in, if that's what he's going to do. And be interesting to see what happens with $1.50 left. Kira's got absolutely nothing now. He knows he can't be bluffed off the pot anymore, can QP?
Well, he's never going to pass, is he?
Yeah, so QP's obviously calling. Well, there you are. So, what's happening, Barry?
Well, I'm just taking my time, you know, not getting too busy, just seeing what's happening.
Okay.
Don't want to give too much away just yet.
Okay, okay. Let's move on. Let's get back to that cash game. There are kings for Johan. Must be pretty good about that. Although Nilo is going to feel even better because he's got a set of 10s, trip 10s in fact. And Johan is wondering, have you got a 10 there? Have you got a flush? Have you got a straight? And he's paid him off there. And Nilo, with his 4-10 in the big blind, think, oh, that's a nice hand with 4-10. Well, King 7, raising from a small blind. He wants to. He's really asking the question of the under the gun limper. He's saying, well, what are you limping under the gun with? Have you got a big hand, or are you just mucking around with some rubbishy hand, like some kind of suited connector or something? Well, he's called, which suggests usually a pocket pair when they've called a raise like that. But he has got position on him, Miss Chippy, so might decide to try and use that. Now, might want to represent the ace now it's come if Nilo doesn't show any interest. And that's a shame because Nilo didn't follow through there, because he could have actually said, well, look, I was raising pre-flop with an ace. It's just hit. So now that it's come, let's start betting. And that would have been a plausible reason for Nilo to bet. And that's the whole thing about cash games, is you do have to create storylines. Doesn't always work, because someone might have a big hand which you're not prepared to put down in a lot of cases. So, but you do have to create storylines. And I think Nilo missed out on that one. Started off the storyline nicely. I've got a big hand. I'm in the small blind. The ace came and said, OK, well, just take it then. Well, QP with $27.30 on the button, and it's gone all the way around to Miss Chippy. They've just made up the blinds and got a cheap flop. And Ashtrays is using his power of position. He saw a check as Miss Chippy as weak and thought, OK, well, might as well take it. Well, interesting now, because we've got the aces, and this might look like a little bit of a steal from the small blind. Let's see. Johan's decided to have a little look as well with his Queen Jack. And Ashtrays, I'm sure, raise it up to 250, something like along those lines, 150. Well, that's a bit of a weak bet for me, because I think that will just induce calling from, well, Smoking Piper might call. You might think, well, the others are likely to call, so $1 into what is going to be a $4 pot. No. Well, Queen 6 would have missed. Mogans, I can't quite remember what King Queen would have had, so that was losing too. And Johan has missed as well. I'm sure he's not going to be interested in this pot. Ashtrays has given him a chance to catch up, and the 2 obviously didn't help him, so bit of a pointless bet there, I think, really, from Ashtrays. Obviously the 2 wasn't going to help him. The 2 wasn't going to help him catch up. The only way that he could have caught up with the 2 is, of course, if he's got pocket 2s and he's caught a set, at which point he's beaten anyway. So I think the bet on the river would have been better than the bet on the turn at that point. But he thought, well, I don't want to give any more cards. I've given you enough free cards. And I can sort of understand that. Maybe he caught a flush draw. Queen 10 raising there. Now, QP's got a big decision here. What does he want to do here? Does he want to call? He's raising, and I like this play with the ace-jack. A lot of people think it's an overly aggressive play, but I like to find out where I am usually with this ace-jack. Not all the time, because obviously you have to be careful against who you do it with, but he's got position on Nilo, which is an advantage, obviously. And he's asking the question there. He's saying, have you got something better that you can call with? Because, of course, you need, you know, a much better hand to call with than you do to raise with. So, and Nilo says, no, I was only mucking around, I haven't got anything. So he's just folded. Well, here we are. This gives us an indication of how tight these guys are playing. Percentage of pre-flop folds. Kira's on 82%, which means he's playing a very tight game. 18% is the pre-flop folds there. And Johan's around the bottom of 34. So overall, it's not a particularly loose table. It's certainly not a passive table. It's sort of somewhere in between. Sometimes we get 1 or 2 players whereby you know, they tend to either play extremely loosely or extremely tight, but no one seems to be playing excessively tight or excessively loose, so it should make a good game. This translates into percentage of hands won, 66% for QP, so he's playing the most aggressive, I would say, what we've seen so far. Nilo's doing pretty well too, 63%. Anything over 40% is pretty strong for this level, so must have had one or two people go out, I think, because these guys have been playing pretty well. Pair of sixes in the small blind. Be interesting to see what happens up to there. Whether any one of these guys is going to attempt to steal. They don't. Nilo, what's he going to do here? Make it 175. He's raising with those sixes. QP might think he's got the best hand, and he's just elected to call this time. Well, Nilo won't dislike that flop. He won't particularly be mad over it, but he won't dislike it a great deal because he's got a 7 as well, which gives him a straight. And he's bet out his draw. He thinks, have you got an 8 or a 9 in your hand? I don't think you have. So he played that overall pretty well, Nilo, I thought. Nice and ballsy when he needed to be. And what you've got to remember is it doesn't matter if QP had a better hand, and even if you called him in that situation, he's done the right thing. And over a period of time, that'll be a winning play, I feel. So nice play there from Nilo. And he's playing a good game, is Nilo. Very good game indeed. He's certainly playing quite an aggressive game. Won't always work, of course. But it does mean that if he does hit big hands, you know, after a while, he's likely to get paid because everyone sees the way he's playing. So QP folded. And Miss Chippy on a small blind with Jack 7. Now, I wouldn't have minded every now and again for the button to actually raise there in QP's position, regardless of what his hand holding is. People sometimes do it with the likes of ace-king and ace-queen and, you know, cards like that. But I don't always think that's the best thing to do. Sometimes you want to get people involved with the, you know, with the big hands, whereas all you're doing with those kind of hands is scaring them off. And you do need to, you know, blind stealing in cash games is important, regardless of what levels. It doesn't make any difference whether you're playing a 25-cent, 50-cent game or a, you know, or a $25, $50 game. Just because the amounts are larger, everything is pro rata anyway. So Nilo with the ace-4 suited. Decided to fold this one. He's in early position. I don't really blame him for that. He's won't hit a flush that often. He's around just to round up things up or down. He's at 8-1 to hit a flush draw, never mind the flush itself. And 118-1 to actually flop the flush. So not going to happen that often, which means that you're going to have to do a lot of bluffing in order to win pots with your ace-4 suited. How's it going, Bazza?
Okay, we're there or thereabouts, I think. How's that? Don't know how that sounds. Anyway, look, we've dried up on the emails. We want to see more emails, texts, and you know, your messages coming through to the show. A number of ways you can actually contact the show. Emails probably the quickest. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. That's poker@pokernightlive.co.uk.
As well as that, you can text us studio 62211. Put your name in the first part of the text message. And you can also have your say. 0906 200 7080. That's 0906 200 7080. Excellent stuff. So if you want to contact the show, myself and Barry will be only thus pleased to actually answer all and any of your questions. I'll deal with the difficult ones because it is Barry. So
I can't multitask, you see. I'm trying to...
No, it can be a little bit difficult, can't it? But you're still in, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said yeah. He's not sure. He's still in as he goes all in. So...
Oh, sorry, I was throwing your vision. Bit of an outdraw, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I was short-stacked. I had to make a move and I got lucky.
Yeah. Let's head over to the multi-table tournament and just see how these boys are doing. And then we'll just take a few hands here and then we'll head back to that cash game so you don't miss any of the action. At the moment, there are 23 players left. And they're obviously playing across 3 tables. Each table is 8-handed, so it means that one of the tables is down to 7. Of course, as players get knocked out, they condense the table so that they all have an even number of players. And we can still see that PUFC boy. He does put in a bit of a showing. He always seems to be there or thereabouts, so well done. Although he's starting to feel the pinch a little bit now because he has got, well, he's still got about 12, 13 times a big blind, so he's not in desperate situation. But look at that, that's worked out nicely for Cash, hasn't it? Flopping that straight. He likes that, I bet. So, and we've got Jiggly Nuts with 38, and that the blinds have just gone up, 501,000. He's got 38 times a big blind, and that's a nice position to be in. So he's doing pretty well, and PUFC boys obviously looking to try and get something going here. He's now down to 10 times a big blind. Fortunately for him, there's no antes in this particular multi-table tournament. Of course, in some multi-table tournaments, you do get running antes too, so it makes the rounds very expensive. But in this case, it's just a small blind and big blind. So we'll just see how this one plays out. And the ace-jack catches it on the end. Didn't make any difference because Defino needed a 9 as he was dominated. So let's head over to our chip leader and see how he's doing. And it is, in fact, Jiggly Nuts. Oh, it's just the one we were just on. So Jiggly Nuts on 38,000. So it's the same guy. And we've got to Steve not far behind him on 36 and Black Horse 129. So all very playable stacks. And even the writer's got 30,000. So, you know, they're all doing pretty well at this stage. So 23 players, well, we just saw lost one, so 22 players now, which means that lots to play for. Of course, the nice thing about these situations is that it means that you can actually get into the money well before the final table. So that's a nice thing about it. So we'll be looking at the various prize monies and all that sort of thing a little later on. So I think it's time to head back to that cash table. Just wait for this hand and then we'll head back to that cash table.
Sorry, Mark, wasn't there how many players left in the multi-table now?
22 players left.
Wow. So are we in the money yet? We must be close.
Yeah, I think we just about are. I think we're just about in the money now, so I'll give you some details on that. Well, it started off, as you know, Barry, with 249 players. And in this particular one, because it was just a little short, it means that only 20 players get played. So they're very close to the money. Not quite into the money, but they're about to head into the money. So that's an interesting situation to be in.
That's good. Keep a close eye on that.
For those wondering what the prizes are, if you do happen to hit, let's have a look, I think it's 20th, is it? Yeah, if you do happen to hit 20th, it is $24.90. That goes all the way up to 11th place for the same prize money. 10th gets a little bit more, but I'll be discussing that when we head towards the final table. So Miss Chippy in a good position at the moment, although Nilo's got to redraw for the flush. Can win with an ace, a king or a spade. And he's playing it aggressively, and I do like this play, I must admit. I do like this play, very much indeed. He knows that he's probably an underdog at this stage. However, he has got lots of outs. He's got an ace, a king, and he's got a flush draw to do. If he puts pressure on Miss Chippy, unless they've got a strong hand, it's going to be very hard for Miss Chippy to call. And Nilo knew that, and he won by having second best. Miss Chippy was the better hand, strong favourite in that situation. $15 outs would have done it for Nilo. Sorry, not 15 outs, 13 outs would have done it for Nilo. Or even 14, in fact, for that matter, 14 outs. Which means that 14 cards would have been good. And the way to work out whether you're winning or you're not behind is very simple. When you've got one card to come, 14 outs are good for Nilo. And all you do is take the flop cards out. So that's 14 for him, 4 on the flop. Take that away from, sorry, 2 cards in each person's hand. That's 4, plus the 4 on the flop. That's 8. Take that away from the 52 cards in the pack. That leaves 44. Means 14 out of 44 are good for Nilo. 28. 20. Was it 14, 30 are good for Miss Chippy. So a little over 2-1 for Miss Chippy to win that from that position. I made it sound a little bit complicated, didn't I?
You confused the hell out of me.
Basically, when you're working percentages out, you just take number of cards in a pack, which you know are 52. You take number of cards on the board, which in that case was 4. 2 in each player's hands. There was only 2 players, so that's a total of 4 cards in their hands, 4 on a flop. That's 8 cards. You just take that out of the 52 cards in the pack. That leaves 44 cards, a possible 44 cards. We know that Nilo could have won with 14 of those cards. That's 9 spades, 3 aces, and 2 kings, because one of the kings was a spade. Sorry, 2 aces and 3 kings. And that would have meant that 14 cards are good, 30 are not good. A little over 2-1. And a lot of people say, well, yes, but, I've only got 15 seconds to work all that out. Do I, is that going to, and then make a decision? Is that going to be, how easy is it? Well, the thing to remember is that a lot of these are pretty standard. Once you've got sort of 10, 12, 13, 14 outs, and you've got 1 card to come, you'll generally know that you're about 2-1 behind. Assuming that the guy's got a pocket pair. These are not things that you generally have to work out from scratch every time. All you do have to do is work out some situations that are going to be similar to that, and just memorise them. It's as simple. It doesn't have to be down to the decimal point. You don't have to know that whether it's hitting a flush is 2.2 or 2.1 or 2 to 1. As long as it's there or thereabouts, that's really all that matters. If you're wondering, there are various websites you can go to. We need to, on Google, just type in that you'd like to work out some poker stats. Just type in something along the lines of, I don't know, poker stats, poker hands. And you should see some figures with some stats come out. Poker odds is probably a good thing to type in for search engine purposes, and you'll see a whole bunch of information. The only thing I'll say is make sure that the poker odds are related to Texas Hold'em, because a lot of the odds that you see on the various websites are actually related to 5-card draw and not Texas Hold'em. And sometimes it's not always that clear. As to which one you're dealing with. So all you have to do is just look what they quote as the royal flush holding. If the royal flush holding is something like 500,000 to 1, you know that you're looking at 5-card draw poker odds as opposed to something along the lines of Texas Hold'em, which it will be around 20,000 to 1, 19,998 or something. How's it going, Baz?
I'm doing okay. I'm currently second in chips. Currently second in chips. In the first one didn't go according to plan.
Oh.
Some gentleman decided that I was making a bit of a move, but I'm sure we'll see that very shortly. It's an interesting hand. No, it's a very interesting hand actually. Now, I must say, hats off, because he made an excellent read and played it well. I'm now sitting in I think it's a $20 sit and go. It's going a little bit more to according to plan. Let me just fold this.
I hope you're not squandering all the sort of company money.
Of course not. I'm accumulating.
Accumulating.
I'm still playing in my profit with my profit, so okay. I'm in good shape.
Okay, pretty good to hear. Yeah. I'm not sure I believe in though. Let's head back to that cash game. Have you had many all-in situations, Barry?
Yes. I just.
Now, why does that not surprise me?
Yes, you've. it's a couple of all-in situations, which you'll see very shortly. As I say, one of them, you know, was it a bad call? Was it a very good read? You know, we'll see. We'll soon see. Let's analyse the play. Let's have a look at it. It's an interesting one.
Okay.
But the second one's going, as I said, according to plan. And
well, that's quite fortunate for Johan there. He's was dominated there, but he's managed to hit his kicker. Well, there's a big raise there. Now, that is a real sort of Doyle Brunson move, that, with inside straight draw. And Johan is thinking, you know what? It looks very much like he's trying to close me out of the flush draw, or he's got a flush draw. Which one is it? Has he actually got a flush draw, or is he trying to close me out of the flush draw?
He's not going to call this, is he? It was a big, no. It was a big raise.
Yeah, no, you can't call that. You can't call that with second pair. But it was an interesting hand because he's either got the flush draw or he's trying to close him out of the flush draw. And that's, I mean, of course, we can see he had neither. He actually had a bad straight draw. But a great play there by Smoking Piper, I thought. Very strong play. Well, Poker Brat would really like to see that 5 appear, but not the 5 of diamonds. And QP had a fantastic flop for him there. He had 7-8 of diamonds. He had a couple of cards to actually catch for his backdoor straight. But he also had 2 overcards and the flush draw, which was the most important. So that's a very nice hand indeed when you're in that situation. Anytime you've got overcards and the flush draw, then that's a strong, that's a bullying hand. That's not a hand you want to be calling with, because that's a strength hand. If you've just got a flush draw, that's a different situation. But 2 overcards and the flush draw, that's a hand that you don't want to be calling with, you actually want to be raising with. Of course, you do have to ask yourself certain questions, though, when you have got that situation. You have to ask yourself, was there a raise pre-flop? And if it does, what does that raise mean? Does it mean that he had an overpair? Does it mean he had ace-king? So sometimes when you are raising with overcards and a flush draw, you've got to make sure that the guy isn't big himself, because he's going to call you and it's going to be a lot of chips when really all you've got going for you is just your flush. So you've got to make sure that isn't the situation. It's good to do on a passive table when there's been not a lot of action pre-flop. Okay, I think there's not going to be much that happens here unless a 2 appears. Let's just see if a 2 appears on this. It doesn't matter. Miss Chippy bet the jack, and that's it. Okay, so pretty interesting cash game. We've seen a few good plays there by a few different players. We saw Johan make a couple of good moves. We saw Smoking Piper at the end there. We saw Nilo made 1 or 2 very good plays, I thought. So very interesting stuff. Yeah, so there we go. So we've got an email which I'll let I'll do, and while Barry's playing his game.
Sorry, I'm just raising on
you
the
just
button.
Enjoy yourself there, Barry. You just enjoy. No, that's all right. No, that's all right. I'll do it.
I had a hand.
That's all right. You just enjoy yourself. No, I insist. It's okay. I think we'll just do some contact details because we haven't got time to take it now. Let's have a look at how to get in contact with the show. Email first, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Like myself and Barry would love to hear from you. If you don't have access to a computer, you do have access to text. Mobile phone, 62211. There it is on your screen. Don't forget to put your name in the first part of the text message. Now, it's time, I believe, that we've got TK, Tony Kendall, on the line.
He's still awake, is he?
He is indeed. Let's head over there.
Welcome back, Poker Night Live. We're talking to Mr. TK Kendall a little bit earlier on. I believe we've still got him on the line. Tony, thanks for joining us once again.
Mark, Barry, how you doing?
I'm very well, mate.
Pretty
very
good,
well.
Tony. Pretty good.
Look, we had to cut you off, mate. We were going into a break, unfortunately, but we were talking about the Vic. Sounds like a cracking week coming up.
Yeah, they start with the 200 pot limit hold'em, and then the superset, then that lovely 750 freeze out. Very unusual competition on the Tuesday. You don't see very often pot limit Omar high-low. with 90 minutes of rebuys at £250 a pop. Don't think I'll trouble with that one.
No,
And,
that's going to be an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a double chance Omaha frees out on Wednesday for £1,000. And then the main event, which is a £1,500 three-dayer, in effect, 2 opening days, day 2 and a final day. And I'm pleased to see it's £1,500 because that's a lot of money. Many of these main events at the Vic have been £3,000 and £4,000. I'm the best one in the world. That's a sponsored player's paradise, but it's a bit tougher to use in meat of this world.
Tony, are you there in a journalistic situation, or are you going to be getting rid of some of your hard-earned cash and playing rock like you
I should
normally
be providing the value from about Wednesday onwards, I think. I don't know if I shall play Wednesday's competition, which is the Omaha. I do love Omaha, but £1,000 a lot of money. I can't play Tuesday. I'm up the Ladies World Tour Poker Final. And I don't suppose you knew there was a Ladies World Tour, and nor did I. But
no.
How did you get in?
Yeah.
Nevertheless, there's one next week, and I'm taking a young lady called Maria Demetrio down, Chili Pepper, who is Peter Costa's nephew. And she's a player of quite outstanding ability. It's her first TV appearance.
Tony, did you say he's his nephew?
Well, she's a woman, and Peter's the uncle. So work it out from there.
Oh, you mean niece?
Is it a niece?
You said nephew. So you confused me there. I thought it was some kind of, cross-dresser.
We're getting a bit worried, Tony, because one minute you're entering this ladies' tournament, and the next minute you're taking your nephew, who happens to be a woman. You know, this is getting very confusing.
And
for
she's
us
called
boys.
Chili Pepper.
That's her alias on the screen names, but I'm sure she's a woman. She's got appendages and things. You know, she's quite easy on the eye. But so that's Tuesday. We're going to have to go down and see how she gets on in that. And then for the rest of the week, I should be at the Vic. I'm not planning to be working next week. I'm planning to be playing. But we'll have to see how the funds go, won't we?
Indeed, mate. Indeed. So, European rankings, Tony. Give us a quick update on what's going on there.
Well, it's a bit odd at the moment because the rankings are dictated right now by one or two huge events, and they've changed the ranking system such that you get more points for the bigger events now, which is a good thing. But top of the leaderboard is the young man that won in Monte Carlo. His name's Jeff Williams. And he got the princely amount of 2,887 points for winning that. He's about 7 years old. It's his first live event. We'll never see him again. I don't think he'll ever win an event again. But of interest to me is Mickey Wernick, who 2.5 months into the year has already made 6 ranking finals. I find that quite extraordinary. This man's game is well exposed. He's been around for, a lifetime. And I don't know if you've ever played the fella, but most people know where they are with Mickey or think they are.
He's a very tricky player, Tony. I played with Mickey before,
That's the point. He trades on this. He trades on the rock image, but he isn't a rock.
No, he's not. I've seen him play. Tony, just before we go, we've got about a minute left. Obviously, we're talking about EPT a little bit earlier on. There's a new kid on the block, Showdown Poker Tour, which begins first week in May. What do you think the effects that's going to have on the European poker scene?
Well, I think it's excellent. I think the more organised tours we have, the better. But I don't know enough about it to comment too far. But I do want to see sponsors putting money into the game. And we'll just discuss that in the next segment. But it's very important to me that it's about time sponsors and TV put some money back.
That's inevitable, though, isn't it, Tony? That's going to happen in a very near future, isn't it? Because it's going more into a recognised sport now. So as that happens, you'll get more...
It's started to happen, and I'm very pleased to see it. But, of course, as long as we don't have a governing body or any structure to our game, we won't be able to exploit it to the fullest. But, one day, perhaps not in my lifetime, we will get ourselves organised, and then we'll get some proper income. Well,
let's hope, Tony, we can see you down at the Showdown Poker Tour, which actually begins, I believe, on the 1st of May down at the busiest card room in the whole of Europe, which is the Gutshot Card Room in Clerkenwell. So maybe you'll make an appearance down there during that time.
I'm very fortunate to have a lucky record at Gutshot.
You've got an excellent record at Gutshot. Now, got to go to break, Tony. We'll be back very shortly. Thanks for joining us, Mr. TK Kendall. We'll see you in a few seconds after the break. Good morning, Poker Night Live here. I'm Barry the Bully Martin, joined by Mark Banin this evening. Got a very interesting Beat the Presenter for you a little bit later on. There's some very interesting plays and moves and stuff. And I'd like to thank all the players for all their kind comments and rub downs and stuff during the last hour or so. Yeah. Always good fun. Remember, just before we get into the crux of things, I want you to email the show, text the show, do whatever you possibly can to do so. Best ways to get through, Email's always a good one. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. That's poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. You can text us. Let your fingers do the walking. 62211. That's 62211. And have your say. Get on your soapbox. Dial this number and tell me how you want to do it. 0906 270 80. Me and Mark will try and answer you the best as we possibly can. So we have a couple of emails here we'd like to answer before we get back to the frantic action on the tables. This one, text from Corky. Dear pros. It's interesting, we're a couple of pros, marvellous, eh? Okay. How do you think you make most of your money? Is it charging people to play poker? What I mean is, let me think.
Charging the wrong odds,
Yeah.
basically saying, yeah.
Or just outsmarting the fish. So, is it giving them the wrong odds to call in the pot, or outsmarting the fish, which kind of similar in a way. I can understand where Corky's getting with this one. It's a tough one, Corky. You know,
It's got to be outsmarting the fish, I think.
Most
Definitely.
of the time, you know what I think is really important, especially online, is finding the right game. That's really, really important. Finding the right game is, you know, finding the game where you find the most fish in. Because let me tell you something. I don't want to be sitting down in a game where there's an absolute plethora of really good players. Because, you know, I don't like my odds. Now I'm having to play very good poker at an optimal level. And secondly, you know, you need some cards to beat these boys. Because, you know, never think you're the greatest thing on you know, since sliced bread. Find the right game, outsmart the fish, and charge them the wrong odds as well. You know, make them pay to hit their flushes and their straights. And yes, you're going to get outdrawn, but in the long run, you know, maths will determine that, you know, you will become a winning poker player. So I would say finding the right game, finding the fish, and you know, doing your best to extract as much money as possible from them when you do find them.
Yeah, pretty much. I'd only say that I think personally that most of your money comes from outsmarting, not so much outsmarting the fish, is that nowadays there are just so many new players entering, and they're a bit gung-ho with their style. They've seen a lot of the WPTs with people doing mad re-raises with nonsense cards, and they think that's the way to play. So, you know, I think a lot of them come into the cash games and they try and play that style. And of course, it doesn't work, generally speaking. They might get odd sessions where it works fine, but most of the time it doesn't work. And all they're doing is just donating money to the other players. So if you can find tables where you've got a couple of those on there, then that's generally where a lot of the money these days comes from new players, you know, not really playing that well and playing beyond their means a little.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Mark. So find the right game, keep your eyes open, try and find some value, which is, you know, look, I think the average estimation for online players is about 300 to 400,000 players online, pretty much, you know, across the board, across the globe now. So there's some value out there. You just got to go and find it. So thanks for the email there, or text, Colkey. Thank you very much. So another email here from Tony. Hi guys, great show as normal. Thank you very much, Tony. Given that a large part of professionals' players' edge is the ability to read other players' probable hands based on tells and their style of play, how do you think someone like Phil Ivey would do if they were playing on an internet 50 cents, $1 no-limit table? Do you think they'd win as much proportionally as they would do in a high-stakes live game? Thank you, from Tony. Well, yeah, actually I think they would win more actually, Tony, because, you know, you have to think that as you move up levels, most of the time you're going to find the better players, you know, in the rarefied area of the very high limit games. Down at the 50 cent, $1, like we were saying with the previous text, you know, you're going to find yourself playing with less experience, you know, the more inexperienced the fish, as it were. And I think Phil Ivey would do very, very well in these kind of games, as long as they would keep his interest, obviously, if that was the kind of bankroll he's playing at. But you've got to understand, Phil Ivey, I would say, I don't know about Mark, I'm sure he will speak for himself, but I would say Phil Ivey's probably the best poker player in the world today. For me, bar none. He's absolutely on a different level. I was lucky enough to play with Andy Black this weekend, Irish fella. It came, I think he was third or fourth, no, about fifth or something in the World Series this year, picked up $1.75 million. We were sitting across, actually next to him, I was about 2.5 hours speaking to Andy. Lovely fella. And I was saying to him, you know, how's your game come on this year, Andy? And he's really moved up. And he says his game's really moved on for one reason and one reason only. He's now watching the really very best poker players out there. And that includes Phil Ivey. And he sat down, he said he watched Phil. And Phil is playing at a different level to everyone else. And that includes Helmuth, Negreanu, the rest of them. So would Philavi win at 50 cent, $1? You betcha. And would he win more proportionally? Absolutely guarantee it. Mark?
Very interesting. I think it's interesting because I think I agree with Barry. If it's a 50 cent $1 game, I think he would win more proportionately. I would question whether he would win more at the lower stakes games proportionately, the 10 cent, 20 cent games, because I think it would just be too far to come down. He wouldn't know what people are doing, and they wouldn't understand the things he was doing. Whereas in a 50 cent $1 game, they'll still fall for the same traps.
Yeah, but you have to think he would adjust his game accordingly to make them the correct moves at the right times, knowing that he's playing at a particular level. I think Philavi would be intelligent enough to do that. You know, like Andy Black says, the guy is absolutely, you know, in the upper echelons of the game. He puts him way above everyone else, both in cash and tournaments, which is, you know, as we all know, is two totally different games when it comes to it.
Yeah, no, certainly I agree. I think he probably is the best player in the world to date. You know, like you said, he's got it all: cash games, tournaments, and very, very hard player to play against. And everyone I speak to that's played with him. Gary Bush played with him as well, and I was speaking to him about him. He says he's very, very hard to play against. You know, you just don't know where you are at any point with him, and he seems to read the game perfectly. It's almost like he can see your cards.
Did you see the Andy Black move against him? Did you see the World
Series?
No,
I did. I missed that particular one. I was away at the time.
What unbelievable move. We must now he's brought Philavi out. We must talk about this. It's a cracking move. Philavi's on the in the cutoff just before the big blind. Sorry, just before the button. I think the blinds are like 3,000, 6,000, both sitting pretty deep, you know, 2 million chips each. Phil Ivey makes it 3-4 times the big blind. Andy Black, over the top.
Who's got position on who?
Andy Black's in the big blind.
Right.
Andy Black puts out Phil Ivey on a steal, re-raises. Ivey makes it like $500,000 to play, right? It's back to Andy Black. He's got ace-deuce in his hand, Andy Black. Now, Andy Black puts him on the re-steal, okay? Andy then re-raises him and makes it, now considering Andy's only got like 1.9, he makes it like 1.1 million to play now. And Phil Ivey's got him out chipped, and he lays it down. He picks up like 600,000 or something in chips, purely on just getting a feel for what Phil Ivey's up to.
Yeah.
But it shows the level of what these boys are playing at. Very deep stack.
And it just shows you what you need to do. You basically have to risk your life.
You do.
In order to get one over on him.
Considering where Andy Black actually finished, funny enough, that hand was the kind of the beginning of the end for Phil Ivey. He never won too many pots after that, and he ended up making a bit of a dubious play with the pocket jacks. He's called a massive all-in situation with pocket jacks, and he ran into pocket queens or kings, I believe. Right. And went out last couple of tables. Where he was pretty nailed on to make the final, you know, because everyone fancied Phil to do really, really well in this particular event.
But that's the thing about a lot of these top pros. You never see them struggling for chips, do you, Barry?
Never.
Never. They've either got it or they're out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very, very rare. Very rare. He's not going to go short stacked onto the table. Very unlikely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very unlikely.
OK, I'm glad we've brought Phil Ivey into this, but now we're going to look at some proper poker playing.
Are we?
No, we're not. Okay. Actually, we're going to see me in the beat the presenter in the $50 one table.
Okay, excellent.
So let's analyse the situation. Let's go straight across. This is me about an hour ago when I sat down in the 50. I sit straight away. This is the first hand. I sit down and it fills up, and there was a waiting list of about 4 trillion people trying to get into this game. Obviously, seeing a bit of value there in myself. And as you can see me over there in the on the button there, Barry the Bully. In the should be raising here. Come on, Barry, stick it all in. No. So I said to myself, OK, this is a $50. Don't laugh, I'm trying to set the play up here. $50, few more chips.
Sounds like justification to me.
You'd know about that going out first a couple of times, OK? So
listen, I went out. I actually, whilst I might have gone out earlier, I actually lasted longer in terms of time than you did. Much longer.
Right, and in terms of...
the blinds were 163.20 when I went out.
What, you were the first out?
Yeah.
What was who's you playing against? A bunch of rocks?
Yeah, it was. That was the whole thing. I thought I would rock up, and everyone else was playing like rocks as well. And
I'd like to see the rerun of that. I think there's a little bit of a gilding the lily going on here. 163.20.
No, it was seriously. Yeah.
Have you ever seen a sit and go gone that high?
No, that's what I couldn't understand. You know, so I was waiting for 2 or 3 of them to get knocked out, then I'll get a bit more interesting, but it never happened. But they've all loosened up a little bit since then, I think.
Yeah.
Because they've realised that it's sort of a counter move to the rock.
Anyway, let me get back to what I was saying.
Okay.
I was just trying to set the situation up. 1,200 chips I was getting, a little bit more time. I was going to play very, very solid. I put my James Browning hat on. That's what I did.
Yeah, I can see.
So, see, I passed the first two hands. It's, you know, what a rock.
Well, Elpig calls with his Queen Jack. He's obviously looking to catch a cheap flop and hopefully make some money on it. He better hope a Queen doesn't arrive because he'll be in trouble. Well, now this will be a good opportunity for Poustache to check raise here, I think. There's two other places up against. One of them is likely to put a little bet out there. He's got to be worried about that ace, though, because that's a likely holding. But he thinks that if someone had an ace, the only one that's likely to have it is Elpig. And, well, he's represented a 9 well, and he's got away with it. So well done, Poustache. I say got away with it. He actually had the best hand.
He did have the best hand. But it was very brave coming out betting.
Yeah, he couldn't have stood it with re-raise.
Absolutely
but,
not. But they
thought,
want to
okay,
know that.
I'll invest 100 into this. If I can win it here and now, great. And he did. Well done, Poustache. Nice move. Either that or the check raise, I think, would have worked equally as well. The only thing different with the check raise is that you would have shown a lot more strength, plus you would have got a little bit more money out of it. Whereas now you are susceptible to the re-raise.
John Rees making his move with ace king, and Tricky not being so tricky, calling it ace 10 and being in a bit
dangerous
of a spot.
Yeah, although if another spader comes, that will slow down the action. So that's probably what Tricky needs to stay alive, is to catch
the 10 of spades, maybe.
Yeah, well, of course, if the 10 of spades comes along, then that'll make it even more interesting, won't it?
But these are the problems you face when you're going to call raises with raggy ace. I must say, ace 10 in an 8-handed game is a rag ace.
Of course it is. Yeah, it's not a good ace.
No.
And that's exactly what I was saying earlier. You know, when you, I mean, he got away with that someone actually called him with a poor ace. But in a lot of cases, you make it too expensive of an ace king. You don't let those ace 10s and ace 9s and ace jacks in. And all that happens is that when the ace does hit the flop, you've got no one to pay you.
Yep.
So, you know, they're nice hands to play flops with. Don't scare them off.
Taking down my first pot there with ace queen.
So you've got a few more chips now.
I have 12-30 now. I'm in great shape. And I've got more than Tricky anyway. And I'm still in.
Jack, you're currently 4th position. 4th out of 8th, not bad.
Yeah, I'm not going to start dancing too quickly.
And not a bad flop for an ace 10. Second pair, best kicker. And he definitely wants to be putting out either... it depends whether he feels that he can get a bet out of Poustache or not. If he feels that he's not likely to, well, it's worked out okay. I'm always in favour of a check raise, where if you can have a good percentage chance that they've got one of the your opponents will bet out. It's a much stronger play with a weak hand.
Tricky raising my big blind with the 7s.
Yeah, not mad over the call with the king jack.
No, because whatever comes down, what are you hoping for? Probably jack high.
That's it. I think that's what he's hoping for. He just has to hope that he's not up against ace jack. But that's a pretty okay flop actually for king jack. He would have been much worse had he have got ace king, or so had he have caught his king high. So he's put a little bet out there, and he's now asked Tricky the question. I've got a jack, he's trying to tell you. Do you have a jack? And Tricky's about to tell him.
Because you'd have to think, if it had flopped anything big like a set, or maybe he had an overpair, but this is the kind of flop you're going to check, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jack 6-3 rainbow, it's definitely a flop you're not going to get too busy with.
Well, Poustache has now got a hand he likes, but look at that. We've got Dalmatinac with pocket kings. It's all going to go in here, isn't it, Barry?
I know what happens. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, you can say
it's going to be raise, re-raise.
Yeah, it's always going to get.
And it's going to be re-raised
nasty
again, and stick it all in, and let's just see if a king arrives. That's really all it boils down to. So far, nothing. They've both got overpairs.
Well, it's all going to go off. can't actually remember this hand. I know I was talking to you at the time, but I remember seeing the end of it.
Okay, well, Poustache has got the over pair. That's a very nice flop for a pair of aces. It means that he's got nothing to worry about in terms of kicker problems for the other guy in case he hits his 2 pair.
Dalmatilla thinks he's trapping you. He's thinking, great, I'll put 3 times the raise in.
And it's all over now.
Yep.
It's now hit his house. There's no card that can come out that can save Dalmatinac.
Nope.
And that's rather unfortunate. Kings against aces, not a lot you can do. Dalmatinac's just one of those things.
Happened to, I don't know if you read any of the coverage, but happened to Greg Raymer against Julian Thew, second hand of the EPT.
Did it?
Yeah, in Deauville. Second hand in, aces against kings.
Oh dear. Happened to, you know Rumit, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, happened to Rumit at the Vic twice running in the space of a week. It happened twice. He had aces, hit kings against kings, and the kings won. Well, the underpair won, basically.
This is the kind of dream start you think about, isn't it? In the first couple of rounds, you get doubled up in the big...
It wasn't a couple of rounds, it was the first 5 minutes.
Jesus.
In both cases, he went out with no space whatsoever.
Deep stacked?
Yeah, you're deep stacked, but you've got aces, you're not throwing it away, are you?
What's this? Bit of a flaky old raise, 99. Get that flake, 99?
Yeah, looks like it. Bit strange.
That's what in fact, they were typing in the box. 99? What kind of raise is this? And I put some moody thing like, I'm just learning how to use this software. It's new to me. And they bought it. He passed his ace-5 on the big blind, and quite rightly so. What do you think I have? Jack high?
Well, Bully using some of his old tricks.
Yeah.
His bully tactics. And Poustache, he likes to probably play his ace-9, but not from there. But he's decided to call, and I don't like that. I think it's a raise or fold in that situation. I don't like the call, really.
You know what? Ace-9, I'm going to be folding it in that position.
Yeah, so am I.
I don't like ace-9.
No, it's a horrible hand to have in that situation. Yeah. But it's worked out okay for him in as much that
well, yeah, everyone's
he's
folded.
Got position on the field. But now this is a check raise. Well, Tricky can't really check raise now because he's got no chips left. So he's basically saying, I'm pot committed to this hand.
Up and down, flush draw. Whatever Tricky does, he's going to get called, isn't he? I'd be putting a bet out here from Poustache, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And he can't call.
He can't call.
No, he can't. It was a case that you had to stick it in pre-flop if you wanted to, but
yeah,
an early position limper like that makes you a little bit worried. But it's not usually a sign of strength. Sometimes it is. Well, ace-9 again. They seem to have a thing about this ace-9 now. This is why you shouldn't be doing it, because if Poustache doesn't do anything here, or makes a small raise, line has to call. Well, that's not a small raise.
Oh, John Rees is in a bit bad spot, isn't he? Queen-9 against ace-queen and queen ace-9.
Yeah, he's
locked up big time.
Well, Poustache let them get off easily, that one, I feel. He wanted to take it down.
You've got a raise, though, haven't you, really? You don't really want a three-way pot with ace-queen. It's not like you've got a made hand.
Very true.
Aye. Aces for the bully.
Ah, bully. Now, I see a limp coming on from you here.
No, I don't. You know what? You've got to put a...
139.
There was some guy on my table actually betting like 139.99 to make it look like there was loads of chips on the table. It's quite a smart play, actually. Because, if you look at the table, there's loads of smaller chips spread out in the graphical context that they are. And, it worked, unfortunately. Well, I'm not going to say what happened to him, but we'll see.
Well, you won all your aces, but only the blinds.
Yeah, but what am I going to do? Limp with the aces? Not something I want to do just to pick up 60 chips. Yeah,
and it hasn't been a well, I was going to say it hasn't been a particularly aggressive table,
no,
but it's been. But it's probably something I would have done in that situation, I think.
Yeah,
just to try and generate some kind of action.
Yeah, hopefully I find someone round the back with pocket 9s or something interesting.
Well, look at this. Poustache has suited connectors. He needs
Flush
a 7
draws,
or a...
Only a 7 or a club.
Or a club, yeah. 8's no good.
8's no good. He's made it cheap enough for him as well, didn't he? 160 into that kind of pot.
Oh, he's hit his house.
Oh, dear. A little check now, John? Yes.
I suppose he's lucky he wasn't a king of clubs.
Or unlucky for John.
Unlucky for John, lucky for Poustache, yeah. He was the king of clubs, he was in all sorts of hurt. So, Poustache probably done his minimum there, I think, and John probably won the minimum.
Snowblind could walk into it here if he wants to raise on the button with his king-queen. What is this limping about, Mark, under the gun with like ace rag?
Don't know, it's a horrible play, isn't it?
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's not a nice play. If you've got ace-6 under the gun, you
unless,
throw it away.
unless he's going to go, right, I'm going to represent I've got pocket aces and then come over the top. But it's a very risky play.
It is a risky play.
It's like throwing 40 chips just away. It's like just flushing it down the toilet.
It's not a good play, no, it's horrible, horrible.
Even if you've checked it round, you've got 2 or 3 callers in the coup, and then an ace comes, you're never certain, are you?
No.
Unless you flopped a boat or something, or
2-pair minimum.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Snowblind make a good fold there. He had king-queen suited on the button.
I might call in that spot, actually.
I think I would.
Because I've got position, I may just call.
I think I would too. I mean, I would play it carefully if a king or queen hits. But,
This is a very interesting hand, I must say.
What, 8-10 suited?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll see why in a second.
Yeah.
I see a limper. I think there's a bit of free cash in the pot. I'm going to make a little raise, I think.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's an understandable move.
Yeah. Now, Snowblind.
I think I would have made it a little bit bigger than now that you've decided to do that.
Really? More than
Well,
220? I thought 220 was a fair size, a fair chunk.
Well, there's 80, it's 300 in the pot. So that's how much doing? 180 to call.
Now he wants to re-raise me, just a minimum raise.
Well, that's a strong play.
It is.
For the pair of threes. And he's read it right, I think. He's read it right, and you've got the up and down straight.
What'd you do here, Mark?
Well, you've got to shove it in, haven't you?
Yeah.
There's no choice.
That's
You've gone as far now, that far.
I've gone that far. A good flop for me.
That's about as good as it gets for 8-10.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you've done that.
Can Snowblind call?
Can he? I don't think so.
He did.
Yeah, I don't think he can call in that situation.
He did, and it
came a bit late for you.
There's a fine line between bravery and stupidity.
Well, you say that, isn't that interesting? Because with that very hand, do you remember almost an identical situation happened with Moneymaker against Dutch Boyd?
He did. It was King-Queen against a pocket...
King-Queen or King-Jack?
King-Queen against pocket threes.
That's right. And flop came down,
and he made an enormous overbet on the flop. And Moneymaker called for all his chips.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Very
called
brave.
for all his chips,
Called.
that's right.
Yeah, he didn't make the move like I did.
No, that was, I mean, incredible. To call for all your chips. Yeah.
Strange one.
Yeah.
Anyway, Snowblind calls with the threes, and even look, my question to him was, even if he puts me on ace queen, ace king, and missed, there's lots of cards I can now hit to knock him out. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I think that's a losing proposition in the long run.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because there's not many hands that you wouldn't be to see me turn over.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you realise that you were favourite in that situation.
Oh, I know exactly where I was.
Yeah,
as soon as
you
he
were
turns over
about
pocket
52% favourite.
Yeah, because I've got not only the 6 outs for the 10 and the 8, I've got the 8 either the 4 either end for the straight.
Right. Yeah, you're actually
you're
a small favourite in that situation. Yeah. So he was actually putting his money in behind.
Yeah.
In effect.
Yeah.
That's the thing to remember.
And he was calling all in, not pushing it in.
Absolutely. So he only had one way of winning, and that is praying that you didn't have a pair on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
Whilst you didn't have a pair, you were actually a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
So, so I don't like the play now, I must admit. He did win the hand, but I think overall it's a losing proposition.
So, from hero to zero.
But you do need some of these things to go your way.
Absolutely.
You know, you can't win these sit and goes without having 1 or 2 freak instances where, you've come from behind in some fashion. And whilst he was underdog in that situation, he wasn't a huge underdog, he was only a small underdog.
Yep.
But he could have been a massive underdog, that was the thing. That's the key, really.
Absolutely. And even if I've got a hand, it was a flush. It was a flushing type situation where I would be making that kind of move in with aces or kings. So,
any overpair, you'd be doing that anyway, probably.
Of course, there's a straight possible out there, straight draw. There's a flush draw out there. I would be making this move anyway.
Yeah.
So Snowblind, hats off to you for making the call, but long term, my friend, not something I'll be doing with pocket threes.
No, you're either at best.
The way to play the threes, actually, when I've popped you back, when you flat called and I popped you back, I'm going to push in probably. If I think I'm at it, which I was, then I push in.
Yeah.
So, oh, there you go, Jack 5 suited. Look, what I'm thinking of here is I've got a hand whereby possibly if I get a call, I've got live cards, which hopefully the ace queens let me doing. And the situation is that the blinds are going to come around shortly. I can't let the blinds go around with only about 120 chips, so I decided to push in. Unfortunately, the 8's called as well. I've got outs.
Not many backdoor stuff.
Backdoor and a king for the straight.
Yeah.
And now lots of outs.
King or an 8.
Yeah.
As well, added to that. No.
Would
Would have been nicer if it was a 9 of diamonds, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
But there you go. So look, a quick soiree into the 50 was fruitless, unfortunately, at this juncture. But we have another instalment that I played in the 20 straight after, slightly on tilt after the threes called me, but we'll get to that in a second. But we're going to take a quick email. We have a couple here in the box. We'll have a quick look. I believe one's from Snowblind, actually, which is interesting. So very relevant in regards to the pocket threes. Snowblind,
Okay.
how are you, sir? Yes, perfect timing. So
Yeah,
it's
just
like
talking
set
about
up.
you. We were just talking about
We
you.
were just talking about you. Anyway, look, email from Snowblind here. Hey, Barry and Mark. As for my play with the pocket threes, I originally limped into the pot, hoping to see a 3 on the flop. No, really? A 3? Marvellous, yeah. No, the bully decided to raise, and that wasn't allowed. And I wasn't allowed to. That wasn't allowed and raised.
He's basically saying that you didn't allow him to limp in for cheap.
No, I wasn't allowed to do that. That wasn't going to happen. Don't do limping, I'm afraid. Everyone else in the pot folded. Now, at this point, I thought I would re-raise Barry with my pocket threes, believing them to be good and not wanting to see a flop with them. Barry called, so I put him on ace queen, ace king, maybe even king queen suited or ace jack, something like this. Think the flop was 9-7-4. Correct, it was. Now, Barry bet. I couldn't believe he had a piece of that flop, and that is why I called for all my chips. It was a brave thing to do, as Barry put it, but I believe that these sit and goes go so fast normally, just one decision that can make or break, which is very true. So, maybe in the long run you might say that this was the wrong play, but I do believe that he turned over 10-8 for an up and down straight draw. But, one question, Barry, why call a re-raise with 10-8 suited? Also, I believe I've limped under the button, so I might have ace-ace king-king and playing slow. Anyway, it was nice to play with you, and hopefully you'll fare better in the 20 sit and go than you did in the 50. Nice little rub down at the end there. Thank you, Snowblind. Great show, as usual. Now, why did I raise with 10-8? I raised exactly why you said, because you know, you limped in with the pot with threes, and you know, I fancied there was a bit of cheap money in there, and I was going to raise. Mark said he would raise a little bit more. You know,
it's not usually a thing, something I would do in that situation. But if you're going to make the play, then I think the play should have been slightly higher, maybe around 260, something like that.
Okay.
Not a great difference, but it might have made.
I made the play. Okay. Now you've re-raised and come over the top, but you've only re-raised me the minimum amount. Okay. Now you valued me, and I've got a playable hand in 10-8 of clubs.
You got 3 to 1.
I've got massive odds. Even if you've got aces, I'm not that big a dog to play. Okay. So I decided to call. Now, analyse the situation, like we said earlier. The flops come down. Look, what I've done is I've called to push in on the flop. A simple, what they call in this trade, a stop and go play, okay? I've called the raise, I was going to push in, unless it's come ugly like ace-king, which, you know, you may have, you know, some big cards. But I was going to take it on pretty much whatever came, I was going to push in. Now, the flop for me, with 10-8, has come a monster. 7-9 on the flop. Against pocket threes, like Mark said, I'm a 52%-ish favourite. With what do we work out? 15 outs. So I've got any 10, any 8, any 6, any jack. Okay, monster favourite-ish. I won't say monster favourite, but you know, it's not as though you've pushed me all in with threes and I've had to pass my 10-8. Now, for you, the other way around, you're on the small blind. I'm last to speak with my pocket threes or my 10-8. You push in, I'm going to pass, because I'm not going to call off all my chips on the hope that I'm in front with pocket threes. So, you know, analyse it that way, Snowblind. Yes, you did win the pot, and you know it's difficult to argue with the pot. But like me and Mark were saying, long term, can't see it being a winning play. I don't know about you, Mark. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, in fact, you're a bit bigger than what I said. You're actually a 57% favourite.
57%. There you go, Snowblind. You see,
yeah.
57% favourite. It's, you know, I know long term that's a losing play. You won. You're right, and it was a good call because you put me on a hand that you thought you was beating. But even with ace king, ace queen, if I had that, I've still got quite a lot of outs to hit.
Yeah, wow, didn't realise you were a bigger favourite.
Yeah, no, quite a big favourite. So look, thanks very much for the email. It was great playing with you as well, and it was always good fun. And hopefully, how'd you get on? Let us know how you got on. We're not going to see the end of it. We're going to go and watch my $20 sit and go. But would like to see how you got on there, Snowblind. And And thanks very much for the email. Hopefully the analysis has helped you in somewhat. I know might not play 10-8 in that way again. No, well, actually, I like 10-8. I like 10-8. It's a nice hand to play. It's a bit of an under-the-radar situation where you can get away from it. But I decided to play it anyway. Look, I'm out of that one. You knocked me out. You took all my chips with pocket threes. We're going to go and see how I fared in the $20 sit and go that I played straight after. Slightly on tilt, but not so bad after the call of the threes. So I sit down. This is the very first hand. And we crack on. Look at this. Straight on with the ace jack. Thank you very much. Let the bully start raising once again. So
yeah, Barry wastes no time whatsoever.
Absolutely, ace jack. Wizard wants to call me with queen 10. Now this is I remember this particular hand because I'm slightly on tilt from the 10-8 against the pocket threes mark, okay? And the ace jack, I'm thinking to myself, right, take it easy. You know, you don't want to be made to look a fool on national TV again. Oh, hello, a jack. Let's see what we're going to do.
Well, interesting flop of this.
Yeah, he's up and down.
Up and down, and now he's at a piece of that, so he's up and down and a piece.
So I thought I'm going to make him pay with 3 hearts there. I'm going to have a little bet. I bet just a little bit less than the pot, and he calls. Ah, look at this. First hand, I'm struggling for, well, not struggling for chips, but I thought, best situation, let's just check it and see what happens.
Yeah, he can't really
he can't take off, can he? Even with 2 pair, he can't take off. First hand, bit of an outdraw on the river, nasty business, and
you've done quite well not to lose more, really.
Yeah, no, I have.
I think.
I've checked it on the flop to trap. He could have easily, got very busy on the flop there with the up and down.
Yeah,
but he didn't. He's seen the turn for free, and he's got a fair hand to play. That's for sure.
So not a good start for you.
Not a good start indeed.
Not good from where you left off before. So that must have been sort of winding
it was.
Up a little.
It did. It definitely took a little bit of the wind out of my sails. As the lineup goes, who do you think around the table I've got to be careful of here? As you know, some of these people.
Well, I think QP plays these sit and goes very well. We didn't play the last one that we saw very well, but generally the 2 or 3 that I've seen him in, he's played a first-class game. So it depends whether they were just one-offs or whether this is normal game. We shall see. Who else? Katak. I've seen him play. I can't remember quite how he plays. And El Pig does very well. We've seen him make some fantastic progress in these multi-table tournaments. I think last week or the week before, he seems to always get to the final table. So, these are sort of 200-300 runner comps. So, he had a great run in those. So I know him more for playing those than I do for playing these. I do see him on these, and I'm not sure how he fares generally. But I think the guys to watch out for are definitely El Pig, Shelley, BXTC, QP. Actually, all of them, really.
Yeah.
Cat Attack is always up
not
there and thereabouts.
I felt a bit sorry for Cat Attack, I must say. You'll see what I mean in a little bit. But no, played it's quite a good table, quite a tough table, actually.
It is, yeah.
Quite a tough table.
So this is a $20 sit and go.
This is a 20, yep. A $20. So looking back at my $50 attempt, didn't do too much wrong. You may have not done the same play with the Queen 8.
The 10-8.
The 10-8, sorry, not Queen 8.
I probably wouldn't have tried to steal at that point.
You'd have just seen a flop.
Yeah, but it's a good play. There's nothing wrong with the play. It's a fair play. I think the bet was, as I said, the raise to steal was a little bit on the weaker side, and I would have probably, if I was deciding to make that move.
Mm-hmm.
But that was really about it. Yeah, there wasn't a lot wrong there, I don't think. Once you've made the play, I think it's fine. And once the flops come out like that, I don't think you've got a choice. I think that's perfect for you.
Mm.
And especially if you know he's got an under pair. So this is looking pretty good. Well, he doesn't want to see an ace. And fortunately for him, he hasn't. So will he get paid? Shirley probably thinks that his race might be good.
Well, the 10 now has kind of saved the kicker, isn't it, really?
Yeah, a little bit. But decides not to have any part of it.
That's a good fold.
It was a good fold. Excellent.
Yeah, it was a good fold.
2 queens on there. You don't think your opponent's generally got a queen in that situation? So this is interesting. Queen 10 against pair pair of sevens, and you're sort of dying a little bit of a death there. You moved down to 780 now.
Yeah, I'm thinking myself.
You're not throwing this away, are you? I don't think.
No, I thought to myself, I'm going to have a little. I'll have a little play with the blind, see what's going on.
Yeah.
Hopefully, get these two people to call. Not want them to pass, obviously.
Yeah. Well, you're probably figuring that Cat Attack hasn't got much of that.
No. So I decide to have a small bet at it.
Flop pot size bet. Yeah, thereabouts. 200. And Cat Attack's wondering whether you've got the king. Problem is that he can't really raise you without sort of committing himself. So normally in the cash game, I'll be re-raising here to find out whether you've actually got the king or not. But he can't do that without saying I'm all in effect. So he's done it. He's actually done the play that is what I believe is the right play.
Well, it's a minimum raise. That's what he's done.
Yeah, which is fine, but he's
200.
practically said that I'm committing myself to this hand.
Well, now he's kind of told me what hand he's got. I know he hasn't got a king. And I'm thinking to myself, can I now push in and get him to pass? Well, that's what I tried to do, but it didn't work. But the miracle queen on the turn.
Oh, you're a lucky fish. You're a lucky fish, bully boy.
I told you,
that was nasty.
That was nasty.
Poor
See,
Cat
what
Attack.
I didn't realise was on the flop there, I didn't realise that I was so short. And I thought I had enough chips to make him pass, but it was only another 300, which
yeah.
kind of said to him, well, okay, even if you've got a king, I've got a kind of call now.
You didn't play it like I don't think you might have played it like a king, I suppose. Yeah.
It was.
You could have had a king, I guess.
It wasn't. Look, after the ace jack and what's happened with the pocket threes, it wasn't one of my highlights of the evening. Put it that
No,
way.
it's
As
a
far
bit
as
of a
play.
10-8 move.
It was a 10-8 move, unfortunately.
Yeah.
See, maybe that's a problem of mine. Maybe I shouldn't play any hands with tens in them.
Yeah, that could be it. That
It's
could
a bit
be
of a
the trick.
fault. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to the action and see how the bully fares after a bit of a suck out on poor old Cat Attack.
Yeah, it was a bit of a suck out.
You did nothing wrong, Cat. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'll stick it through the calculator for you, Cat, just so you know where you stood on that.
Yes.
There was two suits on there as well, wasn't there? There was
yes,
a suit on there
yeah,
as
there
well.
was. It was suited.
Okay.
And I was suited as well, you see.
And you had,
Queen 10 of diamonds.
Was there a diamond? There wasn't no diamonds on there, though.
No, there wasn't. There was a flush draw.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Oh, not good.
Do I want to hear it?
No, you don't.
Does Cat want to hear it?
Yeah, Cat probably does want to hear it. 72.5% he was to win that one.
Really?
Yeah, it's big.
It's a nasty suck
Nearly
out.
3-1. Yeah,
Oh,
that is nasty. Anything over anything close to 3-1 is nasty. So unlucky Cat Attack. These are the things that look. A guy the other day was playing in the EPT. I mean, TK. I think mentioned it earlier, and he played in this EPT, and he hit on the final table. He sucked out twice from 72 percenters, and in the meantime, Marcel, who lost a couple of 50-50s and was out, and this guy won, from 28%, and he went on to win 900,000 euros. From being lucky. So
wow, look at this. Two pocket tens. And I'm stuck in the middle raising with King 7 of clubs.
well, it doesn't look like that's the sort of flop that would have hit anyone.
And the tens have to think that they're in front.
Yeah, and you can't do anything here.
No, I can't. I can't make a move. I can't.
You've got to assume that, especially right as you're bang in the middle of them.
Yeah.
And they're going to go to war and split the pot, I guess. Shelley's committed. Wizard probably won't fold over pair to that board. No, and Shelley's now committed. It's an all-in move. Yeah, cool. And split that pot unless any more diamonds arrive. No, so it's a split pot. Nice and simple in the end.
Yep. So after that suck out with the Queen 10, while we've been talking, I find Ace King and then pocket nines, pick up a few blinds, and I'm now chip leader, which is a lovely position to be in.
Yeah, very good position indeed. Of course, on this particular one, unlike the $50 one, you started off with 1,000 chips and not 1,200.
Yep.
So you made a 50% increase in your chip stack. So that's looking pretty healthy. Only one hand here that might be interesting. Well, two hands here. Keith still might fancy. He hasn't played a hand so far, so I guess this probably won't be the first one. It doesn't appear that he's played a hand.
He did say actually in the text box, he goes, as soon as it's your big blind bully, I'm nicking it, he said to me.
Did he?
Yeah. I thought about coming over the top here, but I thought, no, good luck. If he wants to steal my blind, you carry on. Which actually was quite interesting, because a little later on, we had another bit of a confrontation, which will... I'm sure we will see.
Yeah, we will. We will. Ah, your favourite hand, 8-10 suited.
Oh no! Fold it. Is anyone going to raise me here?
Doesn't look like anyone's
don't
going
look like
to raise you.
Someone's going to get too busy.
No. And what are you going to do? This is going to be an interesting thing. Probably. Well.
7 deuce.
Yeah. Oh, he's a player, this QP.
Oh, it's a good raise. I thought it would look too big to be a proper raise, but again, after playing the 10-8 earlier, I thought to myself, you know what? Just stay out of the way. I've got chips. Don't get involved.
Well, brave move there by QP. 10 times the big blind.
It was a big move, wasn't it?
It was. But that was half his stack. So he could have. He was basically committing himself, really. Whatever, if someone over the top, he probably has to call. Well, oh, look, he's thrown
Pocket
away.
sevens.
That is tight.
I would have looked forward to that.
Wow.
I said to myself I was going to be committing myself all in here with the ace-king.
Interesting.
L-Pig threw them away like they was filth.
Yeah, very... he's been listening to that Dr. Tom too much, I think. That Browning.
Yes.
Yeah. You see, I think L-Pig is probably playing this as I tend to play sit and goes, although I won't play these ones that tight in future. But L-Pig has decided that he wants to play these in a tight fashion, which is fine. But he's also decided to probably play a little bit like he plays a multi-table tournaments.
Yeah.
Trying to trap people and slow start, and he's got time. Whereas, there's a lot of play in those multi-table tournaments. In this one, there's very little play.
There isn't.
So...
aggression is the way to go forward,
Yeah, you have to play these this way. So...
QP getting out of line again. Look at this. Nice aggressive raise. Making me lay A7 down. You know what? It's quite nice as an aggressive player. It's nice having an aggressive player to your right because it kind of keeps you in check.
It helps, doesn't it?
It really does,
Yeah, it means that it stops you from being too creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is always good. Also, I suppose if you have an aggressive player to your... Oh, sorry, to your left, did you say?
To your right. Someone raising before you.
Yeah. But same token, also if you have one to your left, that can stop you as well,
Another monster hand for me here, Mark. I think I've got to raise this with the 2-3. But not low. Oh, look at this. Different gravy. And look at the spades out as well.
I know, incredible, isn't it?
I actually got them quite locked up. There's all 9s and 7s out there, and I'll take the blinds down. Look at this. I'm never going to win another sit and go with these people watching this.
Yeah, look at that, 2-3. And now you're doing that just because I mentioned about the 2-3 earlier,
Yeah, that's right. That's the only reason I did it. It's a winning hand. QP's in trouble here, isn't he? Is Shelley going to be able to let these 5s go? I don't think so. Unless they're going to check this down with a jack-eye. That's a good move from Shelley. Worked out that if QP had a jack with 2 diamonds on board, he's going to be making some kind of move at the pot.
Yeah, well read.
Deduced that he can't have a jack.
Ooh,
called. Wow. So that's a call. Considering Shelley's a pretty tight player, it's a pretty loose call from QP.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, QP's strength, I think, when I've seen him play, has always been his raising. It's not been the calling aspect.
Calling is not, no.
Yeah, and he's gone out basically twice. I've seen him now go out in those situations, almost identical, calling with the worst hand. 9-2, if you remember, where you had a bottom pair. and just now with a 5. So his strength has always been re-raising and raising, betting out, showing aggression. Calling is not really his thing.
No.
So just a little bit of a correction to your game, perhaps, QP. You've obviously been playing well up till very, very recently. Last couple of times we've seen you, though, you've been calling a little bit too much. So
yeah, it's a poor, you can't take Shelley's check on the flop there as being a sign of weakness, really. Okay, she was wary of the jack, but call all in. You see, calling all in. There's a mistake immediately. You weren't trapping. You had a marginal hand. You're calling all your chips off. There you go. Anyway, look, we're going to stop the game right there, and we're going to have to go to a break in about the next 3 or 4 minutes. But we've got a couple of emails we'd like to take, and obviously we're going to speak to the one only, the grandfather, sorry, Tony, the godfather of poker in the UK, Mr. Tony TK Kendall. So, email here from Poker Widow's boyfriend in Newquay. Excellent work. Hi, I'm Carrie, boyfriend. Carrie's boyfriend, good stuff. I do play a lot of online poker. So, anyone who's not familiar, we had Carrie actually text us in saying, what am I to do? My boyfriend's playing poker all the time. I end up sleeping while he's watching Poker Night Live. Yada yada yada. So, this is the boyfriend now. And obviously, it's the
flip,
the counter email. Okay, so get back to the start. I'm Carrie's boyfriend. I do play a lot of online poker and recently had my biggest win so far, finished second in a multi-table tournament with 389 players. Top draw, well done.
Very nice, yeah.
Carrie says she doesn't like me playing poker or watching Poker Night Live. What's wrong with Poker Night Live? It's a quality show, double award winning. How dare you? But it's my poker that is paying for her lavish lifestyle. Always a nice comeback. And what is this about a new boyfriend? I'm not too keen myself. On what? Her getting a new boyfriend or you getting a new boyfriend? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll come back to it. Got to try and get myself on some TV tables soon. Then I can have me play some properly scrutinised by seasoned veterans. We're not that old, Anyway, keep up the great work. I'm loving the show so far. Thank you very much from Carrie's boyfriend. Buy her some flowers. Come on, be nice to her. It's all about,
Yeah. Bit of give and take, absolutely.
Yes, yin and yang, you got to be nice to your girlfriend.
Or better still, buy her a poker chip set, and that way you can, you can play her for some money. I don't know, maybe even a game of strip poker or something. Hey.
Invite her mates round, a couple of bottles of wine, strip poker, crack on. Anyway, moving on quickly. Hope the missus ain't watching. Anyway, email from Juiced. Hi, Poker Night Live. I'm a regular viewer who has just begun with poker a couple of weeks ago. Still a willing player. By the way, good stuff. My question is about no-limit cash games and going all in. Not that me and Mark would ever do anything like that. Does a good player ever really go all in when he still has a reasonable amount of chips left in a standard cash game? Doesn't that mean that in the end, if you sit at the table long enough, you'll always lose all your chips? Not necessarily. I mean, when you're going all in for nothing, or eventually you have to lose at some point no matter how good your cards are. Can you really determine if your cards are ever good enough for going all in? I recently went all in with a full house, aces full of queens, and got beaten by 4 of a kind. You see, you've slipped it in, haven't you? We don't do bad beats on the show, and the email was going fine, and then you started to tell us about your bad beat. Don't want to know, full house over quads, been there, done it, I'm afraid, mate. There you go. Anyway, let's carry on with this. Got beaten by 4 of a kind, yeah. Do you yourself play no-limit cash games or prefer limit cash games to avoid losing it all at some point when your opponent has an unbelievable cards? Regards from Juiced. Juiced, we've all been there, mate. Unfortunately, limit's not my idea of fun, I must say. I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to go for a very quick break. We're also going to talk to Tony TK Kendall. We'll come back to Juice's email in a couple of moments, and we'll talk about no limit and limit cash games, the benefits of it, etc., etc. But let's wake the old boy up, and let's see if he's about Mr. Tony TK Kendall. Tony? Hi, welcome back. Poker Night Live. I'm Barry the Bully Martin, joined by Mr. Mark Prince Charles Banin.
Yeah, hi Barry.
Good.
I believe we've got Tony on the line.
Still? Is he still holding
He's still
on?
holding.
Excellent. Mr. TK.
It's getting past my bedtime, boys.
Yeah, well, tell me about it. In fact, you'll be getting up soon. You need your hair dyed again. Look, Tony, I'll have to ask you, you know. Now, I know the situation with your hair. You know, I know you're getting a bit old and grey and stuff like that. And you are the grandfather of UK poker, if you don't mind me saying. But
No, Godfather.
how come why the blonde hair?
Is it not Godfather?
The Godfather, grandfather?
Grandfather, is it?
Yeah, well, okay, Godfather, that's fine with me. But what made you dye? Was it a bet you dyed your hair blonde? Please tell me.
Well, I happen to own a website called Blonde Poker, you see. I mean, I didn't want to spam it, but you led me into that. And my partner, Dave Colecroft, El Blondie, or as he's known these days, Monty Burns, he's a bottle blonde. And his wife, Rowena Colecroft, is a blonde, so it was the thing to do. And you can't look silly enough if it helps the site. That's the way it goes. And I certainly succeeded in that.
Yeah. Well, I see you recently in the London Poker Masters, where you come a fine second. And
after a stunning heads-up display.
Yeah. Do you really want to talk about that?
No.
We're a guy that's only played he's played quite a lot of tournaments, but you know he's a regular down at the Gut Shot, and he's only played some of the smaller events. You know, it was a very one-sided affair. But you did say that you know heads up wasn't your strongest suit for sure.
I think I've yet to win a heads-up match, so I keep searching for opponents. I played next door's dog last week, and he won that as well. So. I'll get there one day. A
quote springs to mind, Tony. You know, Muhammad Ali said, "I see him boxing once, and he was shadow boxing. The shadow beat him." Maybe that kind of sums
That's
up.
me.
You know?
That's me.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm a grinder. I tend to make the lower reaches of the final, and I don't get to the heads-up stage. But one day I'll do it. Don't worry.
Hey, Tony, there's a couple of tournaments coming up. One in Estonia and one in the WPT in Reno. Are you making your way to any of those?
I might get out to Estonia. That's quite an interesting one.
I was there last year, you see, for that one.
What's the place like? I've not been there. Is it cold, warm? Has it got a beach?
Well, I wasn't there this time of year. I was actually there. They've shifted the time. It was actually in June last year, so it was a little bit warmer. Now I think it's quite cold. Tallinn is beautiful. The city itself is a lovely city. Although, once again, they've also changed the casino because that's closed down. They've moved it to a different casino, which I didn't visit. So I don't know what that one's like.
I don't actually know where it is. What bus do you get to Estonia? Which way is it?
It's the 74N.
Yeah, you have to get the night bus.
Seriously,
the night bus.
Yeah, you have to get the night bus. They come every half hour, I think.
Near.
Sorry?
Tell me a country that's near it.
Estonia. Well, it's on the edge of Russia, or the old Russia, isn't it? It's basically the first one you come to.
I've no idea.
Latvia, Lithuania, all sort of below
it,
I
that
believe.
way, is it?
Yeah. It's only about. It's not that far. It's only about 2.5 hours away. Funny enough.
Well, I might give it a bash, depending on what's going off. There's certainly a good competition out there. I believe it's a qualifier for the Grand Prix, isn't it, as well?
That I'm not sure about. But it's a lot of fun, and you'll meet a lot of nice people. A lot of Swedes go out there because it's literally just across the water. So it's a lot of fun in Estonia, and you'll enjoy it there. It's a lovely place indeed.
Tony, and that's followed up by the Luton Spring Fest, always a nice event to go to.
Yes. Tony, I want to quickly touch on the World Series before we go into the break.
Yep.
8,000 players are talking about this year, $10 million first prize.
Wow.
You know, you've really got your finger on the pulse when it comes to UK poker and poker generally worldwide. Where's it going to end? Is it going to keep growing like this exponentially? What's going to happen to European and world poker going forward?
I think there's a lot more growth yet. We actually had the good fortune to interview Joe Hasham last week, or Joe Hasham in Monte Carlo, the world champion. And he said following his victory in the 2005 World Series, the poker population in Australasia quadrupled in 4 months. Ireland is booming. We have Pakistan and India still to come. China still to come. Russia is only just beginning to tap the market. It's got a long, long, long way to go yet, believe you me.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, 8,000 players, 4 day ones they're looking at, $10 million first prize. I know the satellites online have been running for 2 or 3 months already. So it's going to be a monster event this year. Anyway, Tony, look, we're about to go into the break. Thanks very much for joining us once again. Sorry to keep you cocoa and your Horlicks very cold, but we're going to have to go to a break. I'm Barry the Bully Martin, Mr. Mark Banin. See you on in about 3 minutes. There we go. Sorry, I was just running back from the toilet there. Just get back in time. Poker Night Live, good morning everybody. Last hour of the show, or last 50 minutes, we've got still a number of hands to see in my $20 sit and go, which is going to be most entertaining, I'm sure, for everybody. Just before we went to the break, we had an email from Juice talking about people going all in, playing no limit Texas Hold'em, you know, the benefits of playing no limit against limit poker. I know you're very much a no limit player, Mark, before really talking about the benefits of no limit against limit poker. People move all in, he's saying that if you keep moving all in, eventually, irrelevant of what hand you've got, you're going to go broke, which is not strictly true, is it?
No, because at the end of the day, if you're increasing your chip stack, you're going to have more chips than everyone else, so you won't be able to go broke. So the idea is that you move in when you've actually got the best hand. You know, that's the key. Because at the end of the day, if you keep doing it, eventually you're going to come up with more chips all the time, because you won't keep playing forever. It's not as if you're starting and you're finishing and you're always, each time you're moving all in, you're always going to have the same chip stack or less than the other players. On the assumption you're the better player and you keep increasing your stack, that's the thing, isn't it? Once you increase your stack, you know, there's no way you can sort of go broke, as it were, unless you get a run of bad beats. By the same token, there'll be a time where you have a run of successes, which counteracts that, and, you know, you move up. This is on the assumption that, obviously, that you're moving all in with the best hand, so you're moving in with a 51% advantage or more.
Exactly. Now, let's have also in Juice's email, he also mentioned about limit versus no limit. Now, not something we see a lot in the European card rooms is limit poker. You see a little bit of it in Amsterdam, but most of the time, I know, especially in the UK card rooms, it's very much a pot limit situation for most of the live card rooms, especially you know, in the card rooms I go to. Online, you would say European. Most of the Europeans and a lot of the US sites now, predominantly you find most of the action on no limit.
Well, no, you say that. There's a lot of limit players.
Mostly Americans, though, to be fair.
No, even Europeans I play a lot of
Really?
limit. Yeah, there's quite a surprising. I mean, there is, don't get me wrong, it's one-sided towards no limit, there's no doubt about that. But I know a lot of players that have switched. You know, a very good young no limit player, I'm sure you know John Paul.
Yep.
Yeah, who plays no limit. He's had a lot of success in no limit tournaments. Yeah, he plays limit cash. And when I said to him, well, you know, you're a big mover, you know, that's your thing. You know, you move and you re-raise, and this is your thing. You seem to judge situations. Why are you now playing a completely different game, which is just technically based, you know? He just said, I like playing it. I prefer it. I like playing a technical game. You know, so some people, I've heard people say it, but it is a boring type of game.
I've got quite a funny story, actually, about someone moving from no limit to limit. Roland de Wolf, you know Roland?
Yeah.
Roland is, you know, he's an EPT winner. No, WPT winner. He won the WPT in Paris.
Yeah.
I think, what, 6-7 months ago, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
He was playing a lot of no limit cash, but playing pretty big, playing 10-20 and 25-50 on one particular site. He didn't like the variants that were going on when he was playing, so he moved to 100-200 limit poker. And I asked him after a couple of weeks, how's it going? He goes, I'm down about 50,000. I went, why did you switch? He goes, well, the variants were too big. I goes, as much as that on no limit? He goes, no, maybe I'm playing a bit too high. So it was quite interesting. He moved to variants and
he got even worse.
Yeah,
variants,
because
it's a different game, isn't it? It's a different animal totally. So you know, it's a lot more. There's a lot less stealing that goes on. It's a lot more. It's a different game altogether.
Definitely more mathematical based as well, working out, you know, how many bets you've got to call to get to the river and the turn and stuff like that.
It is more mathematical. It's also there's a lot more technicalities to it than you find. You know, because you are set in certain bets. You know, you've got to decide whether you want to push when the bets get bigger, i.e. on the third and fourth bets, or you want to push early on to close out people or to thin the field. You know, it's a much more technical game, a lot more going on than perhaps is as obvious with no limit.
Do you play?
I played a little bit. Yeah, I haven't played a great deal. Yeah, I'm just really feeling my way into limit. I'm not a big limit player.
Yeah, I played quite a lot in the US actually, and I like playing limit for a bit of a relaxation because you can sit down, you don't really have to think too much. You can 3-bet, 4-bet, etc. And you know, if you're playing. I was only playing for a bit of fun, you know.
Yeah,
having
I did actually play in the US when I was in there recently in LA. I played some 7-stud limit 7-stud.
Okay.
So yeah, that was
just to unwind, really, I suppose.
Absolutely, yeah. It's only a small game. It was only a small game, and it was really just a bit of fun and something different from what I was playing. Yeah.
Okay, Juice. I know we've ranted on for a little bit, but hopefully that's answered your email for you. We're going to take another one because we've got quite a few to get get through in the last section of the show. Okay, email here from Mr. Smoothcut. Hi guys, down to your last $10 and you have no food on the table. Oh dear.
This is not good, is it?
This is not a good start, you know. What's this? Smallest violin in the world. Anyway, there you go. What games or how would you play it? Cash, sit and go, or multi-table? It's quite a good scenario, actually. Reason I asked, I had a challenge with a mate, and I turned $10 into $300 in a week. Wow. And have to say, some ropey bets, but was lucky though. So, $10 in your pocket.
Okay, well, first out the window is multi-table. That's definitely not the one you pick.
It's not the way to go.
It's not the way to go. Too much variance. The chance of you, picking out something is going to be slim. So it's a question of whether it's cash or sit and goes. No professional is going to tell you multi-table, so that one's out. Cash or sit and goes. Personally, I would probably go for a sit and go. I think there's even less variance in a sit and go. There's more variance in a cash game. So, I was talking about this with Kaz the other day, and the more I think about it, the more I tend to agree that there's less variance in a sit and go. You've got more chance of quadrupling up. Whereas in a cash game, you might, if you turn $10 into 20, you've done pretty well, So, I think definitely a sit and go for me.
Yeah, I would agree with you actually, with Mark there, for you, Smooth Cut. I would go for a sit and go, For $10, you probably want to spin up maybe, $2 or a $5. Give it, one or two goes and see what happens. And, you may not eat, my friend, with $10 and no food on the table. But
also quite interesting to see actually how he actually spun up $10 into $300. It'd be interesting to see how you done it. What did you pick? Email
us back, Smooth Cut. That'd be really handy too. Now, for people who have not contacted us, or you want to contact us in the show, there's a number of ways to do it. We'll give you some more contact details before we go back to this $20 sit and go.
Can I just say that also, if they don't want to contact us, don't misdial by pressing 62211 on your mobile, because that'll come straight through to us.
Okay then. So, first, email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk, text 62211, and have your say. And the number will appear, if by magic, on the screen, which is 0906 200 70 80. That's 0906 200 70 80. That will get you through to the studio. Okay? Now we're going to fly. We was poised very nicely watching watching the bully. Getting very busy
very bullyish.
Very bullish in the
and
the
very fluky.
I was only a 38%. No, was it? No, 28% dog in this particular coup. But hey, I won it. Okay, I got unlucky in the 50. Got a little lucky against poor old Cat in the 20. Still going on. Made a few little moves. 2-3. Made a move. We're going to go back to that $20 sit and go and see how I fare against the others. Here we go. So, as you can see, second in chips there I am on the button with 1600. Shelley there with the chip lead with 1875. Poor old Cat who I mained with my Queen 10 against their pocket sevens as the low man on the table with 320. So very much all to play for. Blinds still are only very, very in the early stages of 2040. And I'm in decent shape, Mark, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, very good shape. Started off with 1,000 chips, and now you're up to 1,600. So very healthy indeed. Very healthy indeed. If anything, any increase in your chip stack at this early stage is good. If you can be up to around 1,200, then that would be pretty good. Anything over that is obviously excellent. So yeah. Well, Cat Attack has got the hand he's been waiting for.
You know what? It's quite funny. I was actually going to raise this hand because I was in late position. But I was talking to you and I thought, oh no, I'll just pass. And quite lucky I did.
Well, we'll see. Maybe you might have hit your 10-4 and finished him off.
Well, the way my luck was against Cat Attack, it could have well happened. Pocket 10s again. Look at this. Wizard moving in, not finding any hands behind him. Let's have a quick look at pre-flop folds here. As you can see, El Pig has folded every hand pre-flop. So is this the rockometer over here?
It is, yeah, the rockometer.
The rockometer. Does this mean I'm the loosest player at the table? Is that what they're trying to tell me?
It says that you're playing every other hand, basically.
Is that too much?
It's a little too much, Bully.
Okay.
I think, even I don't play that many. So you're now officially the loosest player.
I am the loosest player on the
presenter.
PNL team. Okay. I wear that medal with honour.
Mr. Browning would be appalled.
He would be appalled. He would be turning in his bed.
His proverbial grave.
And actually, it's nearly 20 past 1. He would be in his bed this time. Obviously tucked up with the... But yeah, hands played that have won. So, hey, look, it's not bad, is it? I've actually... hold on, if he's folded pre-flop, how can he have won? Maybe as a walk.
Yeah.
Maybe he got a walk
Well,
in
he's
the
won
big
100%.
blind. So he's got one walk
Zero.
in the big blind, yeah. And I played half the hands and won 60% of them. So that's not bad. I've done okay.
Yeah, you've done pretty good.
Yeah.
You're above average.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why you got
definitely.
1,600 in front of you.
That's right.
So
Anyway,
there
let's
you
go
go.
back to the action.
Poor old Cat Attacks won 66% and he's down to the wire.
Yeah, he did lose rather a big pot, but there you go. Now, this is an interesting hand. Remember Kev Steele actually tried to nick my blind? Well, he's limped with ace-queen, which I don't think was a fantastic play, considering Wizard had limped with 8-7. Now, I was waiting to see... Do you remember me kind of putting my arms in there thinking, oh dear, what am I going to do with King 5? And I said to myself, however, I'm going to see what Kev Steele bets here to find out how I play this. And it looked a bit of a feeler bet as 400, because it was kind of, I'm going to put a feeler bet in, I'm going to see where I stand. Because
Yeah, if he had the king, he would go all in, wouldn't
I
he?
think so, and I think he makes a bit of a different looking bet than 400. So
Yeah.
I've worked out to my profit that he's got this kind of hand.
Oh, it's a nasty call, isn't it?
It wasn't a good call, and
That's a call. That was worse than your call.
what with?
With the Queen 10.
I moved in with the Queen 10. He's actually called all in.
Oh yeah,
there,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I've moved in. Look, so Kev's really only calling to if he thinks I've got a king, he's
All he can hope for is that you got a 6, and even then he's a bad. He's a poor.
Yeah, he's got 6 outs. Now he's only got 3 outs with his ace.
Yeah.
Or some running Jack
Yeah.
10 or running,
Yeah, he's
queen,
about
queen.
85% to
Yeah,
lose this.
he's in bad shape. But, hey, Kev, that's what you get for trying to steal my blind, my friend.
Well, so
It's a
that
good-
confrontation is over, huh?
A good spanking. Well, he slow played it, but he slow played it with a limper. I don't like that.
I don't mind it, to be honest with you. I don't mind it as long as you appreciate that if you missed a flop, you get away from it. It's very simple.
It's come.
The same with Ace King. If you missed a flop, then forget about it. You tried something unusual and didn't work.
You've got Ace Queen. It's come King High. All right, it's come check to you. You made a pop at it. I've come over the top. I think you have to lay it down, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's difficult, isn't it? I think it's a difficult situation for him.
Look at this. El Pig's passed every hand, woken up with 3-9 of spades, now wants to get busy.
Yeah, it's bad timing, isn't it, on his part?
Strange old play.
Yeah, and yet he passed the pocket 7s in the same position before.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Incredible.
So, myself and Shelley looking pretty tidy now. 21 and 2600. Oh, Queen 10, another winning hand for me. It's late position. What do you expect me to do? I've got a reputation to uphold. Wizard finding the boots there with the pocket aces. Do you know what they call aces the boots?
No idea.
No, neither do I actually.
Oh, maybe if you turn them sideways, they could sort of represent.
Yeah, no, but people say I had the boots. You know they got the aces, but I wonder why they call them the boots. Look at that, aces again. Uh-oh, I forgot about this play. Yeah, finding Shelley with the boots, and
is he going to slow play it against the bully?
very dangerous if you do.
Well, what for
me,
for you, yeah.
No, I'm glad he or she raised it up, because I can get away from it now.
Yeah, she's let you off the hook, hasn't she?
She has.
I mean, that's a big bet, isn't it?
It's a
And
big
I
bet.
don't mind that bet with the kings. I'm not so keen on that bet with the aces.
No, I'd probably flat call and try and trap me, because if I hit a part of the flop...
Yeah, you know how aggressive you've been.
Yeah.
You know, you've been given plenty of evidence. You know, you win every other hand. You don't need the stats to tell you that.
I'm not gonna be folding if I hit a king or a jack.
Yeah.
In fact...
You don't even need to hit anything and you'll be probably betting. So, wouldn't you say that's true? You probably miss everything and you're still likely to bet.
Exactly.
So, I think that was a missed opportunity there from Shelley. I think she could have got another 500-600 out of you at least.
You know, me and Kat have had a bit of a couple of confrontations, and most of the time I've come out on top. Well, unfortunately, this may turn out the same way.
Well, 160, you're getting 4
I can't
to 1,
pass.
3 to 1.
I absolutely cannot pass. Even if he shows me aces here, I don't think I could pass this hand.
Yeah, you're getting over 3 to 1, 3.5 to 1.
Oh dear.
Well, you've hit your 8.
Uh-oh.
2 pair, that's all over.
Sorry, Kat. I did say sorry. You know, I felt sorry for Kat. They should have knocked me out.
That's another lucky situation you've
Well, it played itself, didn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
having said that, you're not that...
no, I've got 160. What am I, 60-40?
You've certainly got the odds to call.
Yeah. I'm 60-40 at worst.
No, you're a little bit worse than that, I think.
Well, under and over?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I think so.
Get your calculator out.
All right, I'll get my calculator out. I'll put it in exactly as it's got there.
Thank you.
Well, I was going
Oh,
to.
here we go. Pocket threes, rock and roll. Wizard can't call with 5-9 of hearts. Can he? You can't call this, can you? 5-9 of hearts?
Well, he shouldn't be. Not with 5-9. I mean, one thing making a move with it.
Oops. Oh, the bully's hit a set. Oh dear. Oh, he's hit the house. Sorry, Wizard. Wave your magic wand and disappear.
Yeah, I was right. It's a little bit worse than 6-4. 65-35.
Ah, it was close. Close-ish.
Yeah, just under 2 to 1.
So now I'm thinking to myself, 37, nearly 3,800 chips.
You're storming.
I am absolutely storming. Two nice coups there, one with 8-3.
Yeah, you better hope that
And
Shelley
with pocket threes.
You better hope that Shelley makes a move here, otherwise you might decide to. No, you don't decide to.
No. I've got
Lucky,
a feeling
good fold.
Redford got a nice little situation.
Yeah, Pig has to call. King 3. Not a bad hand in a big blind, but not when he's looking for a 4 here. We'll get him out of this one. No, it doesn't appear. So El Pig is our finisher, and that's the problem with playing tight in these very fast sit and goes. These are extremely fast. Normally sit and goes, I've played in them, and I usually play a tight game, and I usually have been telling people play a tight, but these are, now that I've actually played a few of them, they are extremely fast. They go so quick, especially if people are playing tight against you.
Yep.
Which they tend to. It means that you don't get any equity because there's no one knocking each other out in the early stages. So Ace 5 against Queen 3. No call there for you with the Queen 3. Very simple fold. Three-handed. Well, King 9 for the bully. I take it you're going to make a move here.
It'd be rude not to, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's a fair bet. Shelley's got no hand, no calling type of hand, so that's a nice little steal there for Barry. He accumulates another 240 onto his stack. Another 7%, or thereabouts. Quite welcome. 8-9. He's looking to hit a 10. And look at you. Well, you're lucky to a certain degree. Lucky that 10 didn't arrive. He had outs.
He did have outs, and you know, I thought to myself,
you were just.
I thought the stealth play here would be actually to bet out and try and see if it's like Queen Jack of Diamonds. I think I'm going to get some action off
Of course you are. Yeah, he'll shove in, won't he?
Because he will, yes. But I thought I might be a bit tricky and bet my queen, but it didn't work out.
No, I think that was a fair play though. I think
Yeah.
You know, imagine what would happen if you saw the 10 appear there. Well, now.
Yeah.
You know, it would be you think, well, why did I screw around with this hand?
Yep.
So I think it's overall it was an okay play.
So storming,
especially as you've been so aggressive. Had you been passive, not doing anything, it's different.
Yeah.
But you've been so aggressive, you've been playing so many hands.
It's a nice tricky bet.
Yeah. I mean, I actually played a similar hand in that presenters tournament against Tom.
Yeah.
I actually flopped quads. and
let out.
and you know, I actually check raised him. Sorry, I just check called and then check raised him on a turn. And you know, I thought he might think I was quite aggressive in that tournament. And I thought, well, you know, he's likely to there's still a chance he'd come over the top with me thinking I'm at it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately he didn't.
Redford with the little slick ace queen there on the button. Not going to get any business from Shelby and myself. Pocket sixes, easy one for me. Push-ish. Couldn't get my slider all the way across, but it was enough to set him all in.
Well, it's looking very good for you now. And you're picking up some nice hands as well, ace-jack.
Very playable.
Yeah, very playable,
I'm
absolutely.
just, you know, I'm going to play fast. If I get a hand, I'm going to push.
Yeah.
And maybe this, you know, who were we talking about, didn't play very well short-handed. There was an email from him earlier, wasn't there?
Was it Tony?
Oh, it's Posh, wasn't it?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
The Posh boy. You're a PUFC boy.
Yeah.
You know, maybe this is not a bad, you know, idea to watch the rerun of this and see, or any of the, you know, faster players in the later position. It really is about getting very busy.
Well, he's checked, and
Oh dear.
well, he's let you in here.
Yes.
And he was in good shape. We didn't realise. Well, I was watching his hand when you were playing it.
Yeah.
And
did he let it go? I can't remember. I think he did, didn't he?
he did, yeah.
It was a
He
good
did.
pass.
Was a good pass, yeah.
Yeah. I could have had any hand. Could have had a flush draw or something. It was, you know, straightening cards out there. So
Yeah, this is a first-class pass by Shelby.
what really was. Even though it left him very short now with the blinds of this.
I've got to say that was a first-rate pass.
Oh, absolutely. I would have found it difficult to pass second pair
yes,
there.
I think so. Especially as he's still got a card to come, which he might hit.
Yeah. See, look at this, another
Yeah,
big
lovely hand
for
here.
me.
Redford can't call with a 7-8 offsuit. Nice to see cheap flops with it. Not so good when it's full
It's
with
going to
chips.
cost you everything.
Well, Redford could be.
Got me a
pushing
nice
in
spot
here.
here, haven't I? $6,000. It's going to be difficult for either of them to.
They've got to make.
I've got a real stranglehold on this one.
You have, yeah. You're in good shape. Well, Queen 9 takes the lead.
Am I going to be
Still in the lead. Needs a. What does he need? I was going to say a jack, but that's not
straight's
enough.
good? Straight's good.
Yeah. 9, 10, Jink, Queen, King finishes it off. 9 was winning all the way.
So we're heads up. Redford and myself.
King was the only saviour there for Shelby.
The blind's pretty low considering. 163.20.
Yeah, yeah. As I said, in the time I played,
Yeah.
there was one person not gone out at this point.
Yeah.
I was the first one out. Incredible.
Nice move from Redford here on my big blind.
Yeah, and like you commented at the time that, you know, at best you're 50-50.
Yep, so
and that was it.
I laid the deuces down.
So it's a good example, a good pass there by Barry.
Yeah. You know, I didn't want to be calling me chips off. I want to be making the move. Get someone else to call me.
Yeah.
Like we were saying.
And not with twos anyway.
No.
If you're going to do it, you do it with sixes or above, I suppose.
Yeah. Maybe.
Something that gives you a bit more of chance of him having ace 4 or something. Well, moved with a King 9, and Redford is looking at his queen and thinking, that's not good enough, and he's right. And this is enough for Redford to move in. And you're half contemplating it, but thought, nah.
Yeah, I'm having
too
a think.
much.
Yeah, it's just far too many chips with 9 high. You know.
Yeah. Now, this is interesting, isn't it? I thought you played this one a little bit incorrectly, personally. Only because you gave him the option of re-raising you.
You know, I put enough chips in to tell him that I weren't never going to pass.
Yeah, but in his mind, some people, they don't work it out enough sometimes. And
But
they
I made
feel,
the perfect bet because there's no way I can pass now.
well, he feels that maybe you can pass.
Well,
He thinks for 1,300, there's still a chance you can pass.
okay. But I had him in a good spot.
Oh,
but
you did?
But unfortunately, he's hit his 5.
Yeah, this is the problem.
Yeah.
I've seen, you know, I've done this, I've made the same mistake on occasions where I've given the person.
I don't know, getting
and
someone
in
all
fact,
in, getting
we
someone
say
all
that.
in with two
What's his name as
undercards.
well? Nick made the same mistake against me.
Yeah.
You remember with the 10 deuce?
Yeah, I do.
He said the same thing afterwards. My mistake, he said, was giving you an option of going over the top of me.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a tournament-winning hand, really.
There you go. Very next hand, I'm looking to double up, got it in front, and
Yeah, he's
yes.
made that move, that Queen 5, and you've doubled up. Very nice indeed.
Yeah, I was never going to pass a king.
No, you're back in that dominating position,
Yep.
6,000 against 1,700 or thereabouts.
Blinds are up now, so
afford to
Redford's
give
only
one
really
away of those.
Yeah, I can. With 6,000 chips, I can afford it.
And that's good enough, isn't it?
I think so.
Ace high.
It's going to call.
Yeah, it's not for all your chips. You're still in strong position even if you miss, or he misses rather, or he hits even. And that's a nice flop for you, isn't it? 4 diamonds, straight draws, flush draws, everything.
Can't hit any diamond, and crash bang wallop. The
Yeah.
bully takes home the bacon.
Very nice comeback indeed.
Yeah. So overall on the night, I've done 50 odd bucks into the first one, 22 into the next one, and over on the night, I think I've won what, $3?
About $3, yeah.
$3. So the boys upstairs in the accountancy office for Poker Night Live, relax. The bully is bringing home the goods for you. Well, $3.
Yeah, $3 anyway. It's better than
Yeah,
losing.
it's better than losing, you know.
Yeah,
How's your
absolutely.
bankroll, Mark? Anyway.
Mine, I'm going to have to borrow some of yours, I think. Well, certainly some of
You write
Casper's.
down, change my online password. Okay. Good stuff. Okay, look, send texts and emails. You want to just thank me for, congratulate me for doing so well. I did get a lot of good hands, I must say.
You did get quite a nice few
I
hands.
got some
Ace
nice
queens,
hands.
ace jacks.
I got lucky with the Queen 10. I've hit a set of threes against 2 overcards. You know, I've hit some nice cards, but it was fun. It was a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah,
enjoyed.
absolutely.
We enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good to see. Good to see.
Yeah. Anyway, look, we're going to go back to the final table of the MTT after one email I've got from Snowblind, because we asked Snowblind earlier, he actually knocked me out of he took most of my chips in the $50 sit and go. And he says, we asked him actually, Snowblind, how did you get on? Because, after me, giving away some of my chips to you, I hopefully used them in a profitable and interesting manner, which you come second in the 50, which obviously you did. So, this is from Snowblind. Hey, I ended up second in the 50, sit and go. Thank you for your input. I figured it may be a losing place, talking about the threes against the 10-8. We analysed it a little earlier. But like I said, I felt that I had made and winning hand at that point. Bit of a misspelling, but I know what you mean. So you felt like it was a winning hand at that point. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, I'm an avid fan of the show and do believe that Poker Night Live should try and organise a live tournament for all the regulars or anyone that fancies playing in it. Sounds like a good idea. Think that would be a great fun. What do you and Mark think about that? Live tournament for the viewers, what do you reckon?
I think it would be a great idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder to put together some of these things, but
Yeah, considering the geographical problems we have, because some of we've got length and breadth of Europe now, not just the UK or the southeast.
Yeah, it'll be a cracking idea, and I hope that I'm sure as the show goes on, then at some point, I think that is something that they'll bring into it. I'm
Poker
sure.
Night Live on the road. Yeah, maybe on tour or something.
Yeah, Poker Night Live tour. Yeah,
Yeah.
get one of those tour coaches.
Yeah,
pretty good.
screaming girls, throwing knickers at. No, maybe.
Put me down. Put me down. I'm
Yeah.
there.
Really?
Yeah, we won't tell the wife. About
No, let's not tell it. Okay. Anyway, thanks for the emails. We've got a couple left. We're going to take them back in a bit, but we're getting pretty deep into the show. It's 25 minutes to go. We have to see the end of the multi-table tournament, which I believe is at the final stages now, and we're going to fly straight across to our lime green table, and let's see what's happening. Wow.
Well, I'll give you some input.
Yeah, give us some stats here, Mark. Tell us what's going on and what's happened.
Well, we're watching the final table, obviously. We're down to 3 players, as we can see. Just to give you some names that went out earlier into the money. Let's have a look. We had Black Horse 1, we saw earlier. He ended up 12th with $24.90. We saw him playing... trying to think what he was playing. Was it this multi-table or was it something else? But anyway, we've got a couple of regulars. We've got Charwell, who finished 9th with $43.57. We're watching Jiggly Nuts, who had the top... He was in top position, I think, wasn't he? He was chip leader at one point.
He was, yep.
So he ended up 8th.
It's funny how many times the chip leader we see early doors never actually really makes it very, very deep into the tournament.
Sometimes they do, not often though.
No, it's not often though.
No.
Not as much as you'd expect, like in the sit and goes, put it that way.
No, that's very true. So Jiggly Nuts came 8th with $62.25. Lee 1968, so I've seen once or twice, 87.15, 7th. The writer hopped in at 6, $124. Ace Hole 1010, 5th, 161. 4th place, which is where we're up to, was $199, and that went to Reservoir. So we're down
What's
to
the top three play there, Mark?
Well, top price is 747. It was, as I said, it was quite a nice field turned out. 249 players, $2,490 in the pot. Not bad return, is it? 74 times.
Very nice.
Yeah, 74 times. It's very nice
very
indeed.
Very nice indeed.
A lot of the.
So all these three are guaranteed. How much was it? Was third prize?
Well, third is 298.
298. So they're all guaranteed a return of just a little short of $300. So
yeah, so a minimum of $300, 485 for second, and 747.
Good work
For first.
And it's all pretty, you know, the blinds at 4-8, everyone's got more than 10 big blinds, so there's quite a lot of play left in this multi-table.
Yeah, that's always a great thing about watching these multi-tables. There's never a situations that they really have to feel that they have to put all their chips in. So there is play. They can do raises and folds and re-raises and that sort of thing. And it's good to see. Well, Jacobs has got the 8s, and now he's picked up a pair of 9s as cash. And he takes out that pot. Cash was never going to fold that. He did have a straight, a flush draw and a backdoor straight draw on the flop, so that was a pretty strong hand. When you got those chips and you're playing against a shorter stack, then you're generally not that worried. Well, timing's off a little bit for Jacobs. He's feeling a bit desperate, and of course, NWO Steve is going to take this one. They're picking at him like vultures, really. Vultures over a carcass, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he may get some of his chips in here.
Yeah, well, I think he's going to pick up 12,000, so that's very nice. So well done, Jacobs, on that one. Back up to 46, although he was up to about 80, 90 odd at the beginning when we just joined him. And what's the Queen's going to do? He's made a small minimum raise, hoping to induce something from Jacobs. Didn't happen. Jacobs just lost 8,000. That's a lot to lose for him.
Oh, hello.
He's picked up, look at that, Queens and aces back to back. Well, we could see a lot of chips going in this pot. Oh, that's...
You're going to see a lot of chips going more in this pot now. I don't think Cash is going to... He's got to raise this, hasn't he, with ace-queen?
Yeah, it's got to be...
I think...
Now...
No way.
I don't understand what's gone on there. What's gone on there?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I can't... What? There's something going on wrong there. How ever, with chip leader, can you pass? Did he hit the wrong button by mistake, do you think?
Yeah, that's, well, that's an amazing pass there. I mean, how he could possibly put him on. Maybe he just wanted Jacobs out and he thought, I'm not playing with anything but more than one pair.
What's the difference between, what, $100 and $180?
Yeah, well, maybe he's saying, well, if I pass here, then I've got a shot at the top. Why do I need to commit everything on ace-queen? I don't know.
I can't see that.
Yeah,
sorry,
that'll be, must hear from Cash, I think, on this one. We'd
Cash
like to hear from
1473, can I have your crystal ball, please?
Yeah, definitely want to hear from you on that one. You've only got about 10 minutes, so make it quick.
Just to let the viewers know, this is actually delayed to make sure that there's no, funny business going on. I personally think, I think he hit the wrong button. He has to have done.
I think had Jacobs had another 50,000 on top of his stack, I think he's calling Cash. But he thought, Jacobs is about to go out, there's another couple of $100 in for me, plus it gives me another shot. And I think that's probably why he called.
Okay.
Had Jacobs have done it, I think he calls.
Why did he call the raise with ace-queen in the first place then? What did he want to see on the flop?
Weakness from NWO Steve, I guess. I think that's the only thing I can put it down to.
Weakness, or did he not want to, what did he want to see an ace on the flop?
I think he decided. I think he decided. No, I know. I don't.
I'm sorry.
You don't buy it.
I don't. Absolutely don't buy it. I think it's a simple situation. Divine interventions come in. The Lord God has taken over his hand, pressed the fold button, and he's gone, what's going on? He's going to watch this come back, and he's going to obviously get his, holy book out, whatever faith he follows, and say, thank you, O Lord, or, Allah, or, the great Jehovah, or whatever it may be. Unbelievable. That is an amazing play.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there'll be a lot of luck involved in that if that was the case. A lot of luck involved.
Considering he was a chip leader,
Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible. But up against someone who could have done him severe damage.
Absolutely. No. Don't get me wrong. But you've called a raise with ace-queen, come a queen high, and folded to when you've checked. I think he's tried to check raise it, and he's pressed the fold button by mistake.
I tell you what, Barry, there's a lot of play still left in this. Why don't we do an email, and if there's anything interesting happens, I'll interrupt you and...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll carry on watching while you do the email. So I'll watch out for any interesting moves, because otherwise we just won't get through them, I don't think.
No, we've got 3 left. How long we got? Oh yeah, you're right. Only 15 minutes to go.
Well, just to interrupt you, I will interrupt you now, because we've just had our 3rd place finisher, Jakers, who went through a field of 249 to finish 3rd, and that's a nice bit of play there for Jakers. Well done. He lasted pretty long there with the short stack, so well done.
Yes, indeed. Email from Dave here. Hi, Bazza and Mazza. Mazza must be you.
It must be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask something about live games. I've played at home with friends and also in my hometown of Holwick? Yeah, Holwick. With, say, about 50 people and rebuys for the first 2 hours. I was wondering how it all works in a casino. This isn't something that's discussed that often, but I'm very ignorant. I don't want to be up front in the casino to find out they're showing me the back door because my lack of casino etiquette. Essentially, how does it work in practice? Do I just look for a spare seat and sit down? Do they rake each hand like online? Will the dealers keep me right if I keep making mistakes, like re-raising less than the big blind or something? Will I get asked to leave if I'm too much of a novice? No, that won't happen. Online, the software does it all for you, makes it nice and easy. I guess the other aspect is, without any experience of live casino games, am I just asking to throw my money away, as everyone will realise I'm new to the casino scene and probably push me off everything? Any advice greatly appreciated. How did you guys fare when you first played your first online game? Well, look, Dave, I will say to you that it's not that bad, my friend. You know, it really isn't that bad. Go down there, you'll find some very helpful people. We're all not novices once. I don't know about Mark, but I was extremely scared when I first went down to play my first casino tournament. It was only a £10 tournament, a rebuy, but you know, I was pretty apprehensive. You know, you're going to have to take the plunge and go down. You know, find your local casino, find a nice beginners tournament. There are loads of them now in and around the UK. I don't know exactly where you live. Oh yeah, Horwich, wherever that is. Horwick. Sorry, I don't know where that is, my friend. My geography's not great.
Yeah, the best thing to do is, if you have a look on the Hendon Mob site, go to the hendonmob.com. They've got a poker database. Go into their poker database and it shows you all the UK places where they play poker, and whichever one of those is nearest to you, you can just pick and go there.
But overall, you shouldn't be, you shouldn't be too nervous about going into a casino.
No, you'll love it. You'll really like it. Once you play your first one, I was always playing online up to that point. I played about 3 or 4 months online. I played my first game there. The adrenaline rush that you get is great. The enjoyment of the game, the social aspect, you'll thoroughly enjoy it. I'm sure you will. So go out and just enjoy yourself.
All right, I've just worked out that Horwick is actually in near Edinburgh. So there are card rooms at Edinburgh, and in and around there's a new club opened up as well, I believe, in close to Edinburgh. So I'm sure you will find something to your liking. Just search around and you'll do something okay. Right.
In the meantime, Barry, just to give the viewers a bit of an update what we've seen here. I mean, they've been watching anyway for the most part. But NWO Steve did take a bit of a bigger chip lead. He was up to around 280, I think, earlier. And Cash was down. No, it was a bit less than 280. He was down to about 100 or so. So that worked out pretty well for him. But they're sort of getting a bit nearer to each other again. So, as I said, I'll keep you updated while you're doing those emails. I'll interrupt if anything interesting happens.
Okay, we had an email earlier about how you would spin up $10 if it was your last $10. Remember that one from Smooth Cut? Well, we actually asked him, how did you actually do this? How did you spin your $10 up to 300? Right, and we said we would play a sit and go, didn't we? We didn't. Multi-tables, no, not the way to do it. So we said sit and go is probably the best way. So, Smooth Cut, he said, hi again. Actually, I did play a $5 sit and go and lost. Then I joined a 5-cent, 10-cent game, and then got to $20. Joined a 50-cent $1 game, and with the minimum buy-in, went all in with the first good hand and found players were calling my all-ins regardless of odds, as they think I assumed I was trying to steal. Worked well until I gathered a respectable amount of chips, and then I multi-tabled $20 sit and goes to get to 300. Easy? Not, he says.
No, so that wasn't easy.
There you go. So, Smooth Cut, thanks for the email. It's always interesting to find out how you spun it up, and hey, sounds like you got yourself a winning formula there for how to spin up this amount of money.
Yeah, very nice indeed.
Ooh, looks like
talking about easy,
he's really taking control of this one, isn't he? Old NWO Steve. He really is.
Yeah, absolutely. He's in good position at the moment. But anything can change. Blinds are, 4 and 8. One re-raise means there's 24,000, 32,000 in the pot.
Oh, flush draw against nothing.
Oh, it's not nothing anymore.
Flush draw flush against the pair.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
He's had to actually hit that flush and...
Bet out.
well, he had a 9 high flush. He was probably a little bit worried.
Didn't want to see another heart on the river there.
Yeah, or another paired card on there. Might have worried him. So he decided I'll take it down here. Well, will he rue that missed opportunity, possibly? Well, he's raised with the jacks and didn't get a caller in NWO Steve, so good fold there by Steve. Very tempting to have a look at a flop with 7-8 to a small raise like that. I think I would have done, and that would have been a nice flop for me. 8-3-8 would have he would have gone all in with his jacks, and I would have happily called, and of course that would be probably end of tournament for him. But as I'll put, it was a small race, so I think I might have had a look, especially with his chip stack. He had a lot of chips. He had 275,000 to call 12,000 to see where you're at, see what happens. But it was a decent fold in the end. 7-8 doesn't want to get involved with it. They're not the believers of 7-8, are they? I keep plugging 7-8 plus 7-8, don't seem to listen.
No. If they like Queen 7 any better.
Well, they do. This is the funny thing.
Oh, look at this.
Look, another perfect flop for a 7-8.
Up and down, up and down.
That's 2 perfect flops we've seen for 7-8.
Look at this, up and down and top pair now. Yeah, cashes. Missed a bet on the... I think he missed a bet on the time there. I think he'd have got a little bit more out of NWO Steve.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. So he's folded that particular hand, and he's in no rush, Steve, but, he should use some of his drawing hands. I'm not mad over things like Jack 6 and stuff like that, because, while you say, well, Jack 6, Mark, is better than 7-8. Well, it is, but you've got to remember, it only works when you're going up, heads up, all the way to the river. Otherwise, you never know where you are with a hand like Jack 6. Very hard. Whereas 7-8 is very simple. You either know where you are on the flop, and you know whether it's worth progressing to the river or not. With Jack 6, you never really know whether it's worth progressing or not. Well, Cash is finding it hard here to try and make any headway.
He's not playing back at all. He's letting NWO Steve take full control of this table.
Yeah, he's been playing it fairly softly himself, I think, NWO. He hasn't been making lots of moves.
When he's been raising, you can see he makes the continuation play pretty much every time. He's betting out after a raise, irrelevant of what comes on the flop, which, heads up, it's not the worst thing in the world to do, for sure.
Yeah. Well, 5-6. I think that's where NWO Steve is missing a couple of opportunities, with these connectors. He's had a few connectors now, and he doesn't want to play any of them. I mean, so far it's worked out for him, so can't really criticise. But I think I would have liked to play 1 or 2 more hands. When your head's up, you can't keep folding, especially to a guy that's under pressure to accumulate chips. I'm not saying you want to put him all in, but it means he can't take chances. And that's the thing about heads-up play. When you've got a guy on the back foot like Cash is at the moment, if you see flops and you bet out, unless he's actually got a hand, which, let's face it, 1 out of 3 times he will have a hand, 2 out of 3 times he won't, it means that you're going to be able to steal lots of pots and he won't be able to come back at you because it's too much, it's risking his whole tournament. So I think that's a missed opportunity for NWO Steve. Well, 10-7 against King Queen. Well, he likes that a bit better because it's suited. And you see, I would just prefer a call in that situation. It's a nice sort of calling hand, not so good as a...
with NWO Steve already raising, I think it's a fair shout, taking it down with the King Queen.
Yeah. Well, 10 Jack against 2-3. He wants to raise with that, and he's starting to put the guy under pressure.
He's not playing back enough, is he? NWO Steve's raising pretty much every time in the small, on the small blind.
It seems, I get the impression that NWO Steve seems to like to be in sort of a situation where he's got about 240 and the other guy's got around 130, and he seems to want to sort of stay at that level. and then let's wait for the cards.
Well, Cash has made a bit of a comeback. He's got him nearly down to 200.
Yeah, he's going to get a little bit of extra chips out of him on this one, though, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. 240, 135.
No, he's only a double up away.
Well, pair
Second
of nines.
pair against top pair. Is he going to play it quick? Yep. Folds it very quickly.
Yeah. Well, he's
I think he's got Cash. He's definitely got Cash's number
at the moment, but that can change all in one hand, can't it, Barry?
Absolutely.
You know, you can have an ace king against a pair, and before you know it, they're all stuck it in, and they leave it to the poker gods.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. You know, when Cash bets out, he knows Cash has usually got something to do with the flop.
Yeah. Well, he's become a bit more passive now in the last 2 or 3 hands.
Well, look at this. He's dragged the chips right back. And
yeah, blinds have gone up as well.
Yeah.
NWO,
look at this.
Steve.
Wow, only 10 grand away now. Without really getting too busy.
Yeah, he's got a chip lead.
Yeah.
See? Oh no, slightly under.
No, 200 behind.
Queens. Oh dear, this could be the hand, Barry.
This could be it. Just in time when he's got his chip lead back as well.
He's going to re-raise, isn't he? He's going to. He's lost so many.
Oh dear. Oh,
look what he's left with himself. 253.
Oh, he's at the flush as well. So Cash won 1473 after really being under the cosh the whole time.
Yeah.
Quite amazing.
Yeah, and you see, that's why I would prefer to grind out with these sort of suit connectors and what have you when the guy's under pressure rather than leaving it just to one hand.
But you're not going to pass 8s, are you? You're not.
I wouldn't probably put. I might do.
Yeah?
I might do. If I feel that I can grind them out, I would pass that. No problem at all.
But if you feel like but NWO Steve wasn't under the cosh, was he? So
No. I mean, but he's made a raise, hasn't he?
There you go.
But he wouldn't have got away from it. Because he had 3 undercards to his 8s anyway, so very hard to get away from.
3-8 against 10-5. Cash 1473.
I don't think NWO Steve could have done anything in that situation. Well done to Cash with 747 prize.
Nice. A nice cash for Cash.
Yeah, I think NWO Steve was a bit unlucky in the way it turned out because even if he played the flop, there was 3 undercards. Yeah. You know, there's no escape for him, was there? Once he hit 3 undercards, even anyone would have fallen into that. You know, I see 3 undercards, I'm pushing in. There's no, and I'm just unlucky the guy's got a bigger pair. Yeah.
Great stuff. Right, we've got one more email before we leave you this evening. And this is from Hugh Owen. Good evening, guys. Good morning, Hugh Owen. For a little while, something has been on my mind, and I'd like your thoughts, please. Interesting. Tell me more. In most situations, against most opponents, when you bet second pair post-flop for enough to push out any draws, if you get a call or raise, it looks like you're behind. You're probably not going to take the hand to a showdown if there's any betting. Fair? Yeah, I'd say it was fair. When you bluff against most opponents, if you get a call or raise, you're probably also going to give it up, right? Possibly. So, if we can say that as a general rule, second pair or worse plays the same as a bluff, what does that mean for the way we approach the game? On one hand, it makes second pair look pretty worthless, almost as if betting second pair is just a way of using the cards to randomise our bluffs. On the other hand, it suggests that if second pair doesn't get us to a showdown, we can play any 2 cards as if they were second pair. It occurs to me that this might be half the secret behind 7-8 off or 5 deuce, actually using the cards to randomise your bluffs. Absolutely, you've answered your own question.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there's a bit more to it than that, to be honest, and I don't think we're going to have time to go through it.
We're not. Like your email,
but it's a very interesting email. Very interesting email. I think you've hit a lot of good points on that.
Yeah, excellent work. Great. Well, this has been Poker Night Live this evening. Thanks for joining us. Myself, Barry the Bully Martin, Mark Banin. See you again very, very soon.